So there I was, fresh off winning the rookie tournament, and suddenly every fancy university in the country wanted a piece of me like I was the last slice of pizza at a party. First up was this guy Wang Hai from Longdu University, gold-rimmed glasses, business card shinier than his forehead, grinning at me like I was his long-lost son who just won the lottery. Super S-tier resources. Pick any mentor. Our principal will personally teach you. The crowd lost their minds. Apparently, this principal is some godlike figure who could sneeze and flatten a building. Before anyone could process that, a walking tank from War God Academy shoved his way in, slapping his chest so hard his armor rang like a gong. Forget that nerd school. We'll give you 1,000,000 credits, custom battle armor, and a downtown mansion. Dude was basically reading me a real estate brochure while flexing. Then it became a full-on bidding war. Magic Martial University offered to craft me a personal weapon. The military academy promised me the rank of colonel straight out of graduation. I half expected someone to offer me their firstborn. Meanwhile, I'm standing there doing math in my head. Here's the thing these people don't understand. My power comes from my system. I level up by killing monsters. I stack mythic-grade passive skills by grinding. No university lecture hall is going to give me that. What am I going to do? PowerPoint my way to godhood. Take notes on Introduction to Not Dying 101. Universities are greenhouses. Nice, cozy, safe. But I'm not a houseplant. I need the wilderness. I need an all-you-can-eat buffet of monsters to slaughter for XP. So I opened my mouth and said the magic words. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm turning down everyone. You could hear a pin drop. Then you could hear that pin's echo. Then you could hear someone's brain short-circuiting. Wang Hai's smile froze so hard it could have been used as an ice sculpture. The war god recruiter looked at me like I'd just slapped his grandmother. Everyone stared at me like I'd announced I was quitting breathing. But I wasn't done. Oh no. I'm going solo. Heading to the wilderness zone to train alone. Now the place really exploded. The wilderness zone, basically monster murder land where everything wants to eat your face. Even veteran fighters don't go there alone. And here I am, a level 10 newbie with an F-rank class, basically announcing I'm speedrunning my own funeral. He's insane. What an idiot. RIP to a promising career. The crowd had opinions. Lots of them. All loud. The recruiters went from, please marry our university, to, oh well, he's already dead, in about 3 seconds flat. Fastest breakup I've ever seen. Somewhere in the crowd, Lu Jinxiong, the guy I'd humiliated earlier, was practically vibrating with joy. In the city, killing me would be complicated. In the lawless wilderness, accidents happen all the time. Christmas came early for that psycho. And Lu Manyu, my lovely ex who treats me like dirt on her shoe, was standing there with the most confused expression. Part of her was thrilled I'd be gone. Part of her was annoyed that I simply refused to act like a normal person. Sorry to irritate you by existing differently, princess. Did any of this bother me? Not even a little. I turned around and walked straight out through that crowd. Every pair of eyes burning holes in my back, every mouth running with predictions of my death. They all thought I was walking toward a grave. What they didn't know was that I was walking toward the biggest monster-grinding spree this world had ever seen. Their pity? I'll spend it like pocket change when I come back strong enough to make their jaws hit the floor. Again. So I walked away like an absolute legend, and behind me, pure chaos. The crowd was having a collective meltdown. You'd think I announced I was going to fight the sun or something. Everyone and their grandma had an opinion about my life choices. He'll be dead in 3 days. No, 1 day. A random night monster will use him as a chew toy. Thanks for the vote of confidence, strangers. Really heartwarming stuff. That recruiter Wang Hai, the one who was practically proposing to me 5 minutes ago, crumpled up his fancy gold business card and tossed it in the trash. Called me uncarved rotten wood. Buddy, you were begging me to join your school literally 60 seconds ago. Fastest rejection recovery I've ever seen. The war god guy actually spat on the ground and said I wasted his emotions. Sir, we shared 90 seconds together. Calm down. Meanwhile, I could practically feel Lu Jinxiong smiling behind my back. That man's happiness was radiating like a space heater. His whole dark cloud mood from getting humiliated, gone. Replaced by pure villain joy. Dude was probably already mentally shopping for champagne. And Lu Manyu, my wonderful ex, was apparently having some kind of existential crisis. See, the old me used to be her personal doormat. quiet, obedient, took every insult with a smile. Now suddenly I'm out here winning tournaments and rejecting elite universities like their spam emails, and her brain just can't compute. I'm like a glitch in her reality. She told her dad she noticed I've changed. Groundbreaking observation, detective. Now here's the part one didn't know about at the time, but oh boy, it's juicy. The second those two got in their fancy car, Lu Jinxiong dropped the public act faster than a bad habit. His daughter asked if I'd really die in the wilderness, and he said, obviously, like she'd asked if water was wet. An F-rank gunner, alone, no supplies, no team? Even A-rank geniuses wouldn't try that, apparently. But here's where it gets really spicy. The old snake wasn't satisfied with just letting nature take its course. Nope. He figured I must have some secret, some hidden treasure or power that let me punch so far above my weight class. And he wanted it. Greedy doesn't even begin to cover it. So what did this upstanding citizen do? Locked himself in his study and called up the Night Owls, the most infamous underground assassin organization in the whole city. Just casually ordering a hit on a teenager like he's placing a takeout order. Capture him alive. I want every secret squeezed out of him. Then feed him to the monsters and make it look like an accident. His exact instructions, more or less. Real Father of the Year material. And the assassins? They were like, F-rank gunner who solo killed a C-rank boss? Interesting. But sure, we can handle it. Let's talk pricing. Just another Tuesday for professional murderers. The best part, and by best, I mean most psychotically evil, was Lu Jinxiong standing at his window afterwards, monologuing to himself like a proper cartoon villain. Something about my parents not being able to beat him, me being a stepping stone for his precious daughter, blah blah blah. I'm surprised he didn't stroke a white cat while doing it. So to recap my current situation, I've rejected every university in the country. The entire city thinks I'm speedrunning suicide, and a professional assassination squad has been hired to kidnap, interrogate, and murder me in the wilderness. And I was out there walking into the sunset thinking, time to grind some levels. Ignorance truly is bliss, folks. Now, I obviously wasn't there for any of this. I was busy packing my bags and sharpening my guns like a cool action hero. But thanks to the magic of storytelling, let me paint you a picture of what my dear adoptive father was up to while I walked off into the sunset. Lu Jinxiong was standing at his fancy floor-to-ceiling window, staring at his perfectly trimmed garden like a Bond villain buffering between evil schemes. My tournament performance had apparently slapped him across the face so hard he could still feel the sting. Good. Consider that a refund for 10 years of garbage parenting. And here's where the backstory gets real dark, real fast. Remember how my parents died? Tragic accident in the wilderness, everyone said. So sad, they said. Yeah, turns out this man, this outstanding human being who adopted poor little orphan me, literally shoved my mom and dad into the jaws of monsters to save his own skin, used them as living shields, then had the audacity to adopt their kid and play the kind guardian card for a decade. 10 years. 10 years he kept me around like a trophy that proved what a nice guy he was, while secretly being the reason I needed adopting in the first place. Parent of the century, folks. Someone get this man a mug. He kept me weak and obedient on purpose. Easier to control the son of the people you murdered when that son is a scared, quiet doormat. And for 10 years it worked perfectly. I was his little pet lamb. Except now the lamb just solo killed a C-rank boss on live television. And suddenly old Lou is sweating bullets wondering what happened to his harmless little punching bag. His brain was doing Olympic-level mental gymnastics. F-rank can't do that. He must have some secret treasure. If I steal it and give it to my precious Manhwa, she could reach the legendary Holy Domain realm. The greed was so thick you could spread it on toast. Then his wife Wang Lan walked in, bringing fancy tea and bad vibes as usual. This woman called me an ungrateful white-eyed wolf and a bad luck star in the same breath. Ma'am, your husband literally murdered my parents and then raised me like a discount Cinderella. Who was the ungrateful one here? She suggested they should have just dumped me in an orphanage. Real classy. But Lu Jinxiong shut her down, not because he felt bad, oh no, because he sees me as a walking gold mine, his words. I've been upgraded from worthless trash to valuable resource to be strip mined. Progress. The second Wang Lan heard there might be treasure involved, Her eyes lit up like slot machines hitting jackpot. These two deserve each other so much, it's almost romantic. Then Lu Jinxiong dropped the big reveal. He's hired the Night Owls, the most notorious assassin organization in the city's underground. Wang Lan gasped and covered her mouth like she was in a soap opera. But was she horrified? Nope. She got excited. Started hanging on her husband's neck, cooing about how brilliant he is. Just a wholesome married couple planning the murder of their adopted teenage son. Date night goals. The plan? Send 2 A-rank killers after me. Codenames, Blood Raven, and Ghost Hand. One specializes in capturing targets, the other in stealth assassination. Together, they've supposedly given S-rank fighters trouble. And they're sending both of them after level 10 little old me. That's like calling in 2 aircraft carriers to deal with a guy in a kayak. Flattering, honestly. Step 1. Capture me alive. Step 2. Torture every secret out of me. Step 3. Feed me to monsters and call it an accident. Step 4. Give whatever they find to precious Princess Manhwa. Step 5. Profit. Lu Jinxiong actually stood there sipping his fancy tea, fantasizing about how the Lu family would shake the entire world once they stole my power. He literally thought to himself that I'd rot in the wilderness like a fallen leaf, leaving no trace. Dude wrote my obituary before I even left the city. That's aggressive scheduling. He also hit me with the classic villain line. Your parents couldn't beat me, and neither can you. Sir, you didn't beat my parents. You pushed them into a monster's mouth while running away screaming. That's not victory, that's cowardice with extra steps. So there's the full picture. While I'm out here innocently planning my power-leveling adventure, there's a professional kill squad being dispatched to my location, funded by the man who killed my parents and raised me as a cover story. My life is basically a revenge novel, and I don't even know it yet. But hey, 2 A-rank assassins coming to find me in a place full of monsters? That just sounds like bonus XP with extra steps. So while I was out living my best life, apparently another group of people decided they wanted me dead. I'm collecting enemies like Pokemon at this point. Let me set the scene for what I didn't know was happening across town. Deep in the sketchy underbelly of West City, there's this underground black market, the kind of place that smells like cheap booze and bad decisions. And in the VIP room of some flashy underground bar, sitting on a throne of terrible life choices, was Wang Biao. Street name, Black Tiger. Picture this guy. Bald head, gold chain thick enough to tow a truck, shirtless with a giant tiger tattoo on his chest, 2 women on each arm, chugging expensive liquor like water. Level 30B rank Berserker Warrior. The undisputed king of, I will absolutely ruin your day. Basically a final boss for a side quest I never signed up for. Now remember Li Hu? That foreman jerk from the sewer job who tried to steal my money? The one whose hand I turned into confetti with my shotgun? Yeah, that guy? Turns out he's one of Black Tiger's goons. And where did this one-handed wonder go crying? Straight to Daddy Black Tiger, of course. Burst through the VIP door like a kicked puppy, smelling like actual sewage, wrapped in bandages, sobbing and grabbing Wang Biao's leg like a toddler at a grocery store. Boss, my hand. Some kid destroyed my hand. Wang Biao's first reaction? He laughed. Laughed. You, a 10-year street veteran, got wrecked by a freshly awakened student? With the worst class in the game? Honestly, fair reaction. But then Li Hu dropped the details. One kid, one garbage shotgun. Cleared an entire dungeon solo overnight. Killed over 100 goblins, including the level 3 boss. Built a literal mountain of corpses. Wang Biao stopped laughing real quick. Now here's where it gets predictable. The exact same thought process as Lu Jinxiong. F-rank doing impossible things? Must have a secret weapon or hidden treasure. It's like these villains all share the same brain cell and take turns using it. Then Li Hu mentioned I'd gone to the wilderness alone, and Wang Biao's eyes lit up like he'd just found a winning lottery ticket in the gutter. Slapped his thigh so hard it echoed. Heaven has a road, but he won't take it. Hell has no gate, but he walks right in. Sir, that's a very dramatic thing to say in a strip club. He immediately called up his entire gang. Everyone get your weapons. We're going sheep hunting. He was literally licking his lips, fantasizing about crushing my skull with his fist. Really normal behavior from a really normal man. Oh, and Li Hu was crying about how I stole his 40,000 credits, the money he tried to scam from me. That was money I was saving to give you, boss. The audacity. The sheer shamelessness. I'd be impressed if I wasn't the victim. So let's do a quick head count of people currently trying to kill me. 1. Lu Jinxiong and his professional assassin squad, the Night Owls, featuring 2 A-rank killers. 2. Wang Biao and his entire Black Tiger gang, featuring 1 very angry bald man with a tiger tattoo. I haven't even left the city yet, and I've already got more people hunting me than a Black Friday TV deal. But did I know about any of this? Of course not. I was strolling down Main Street shopping like a tourist, still covered head to toe in blood and dungeon dirt, looking like I'd just crawled out of a war zone and decided to hit them all. People were staring at me like I was a crazy person. Which, fair. I was a teenager in destroyed tactical gear window shopping between a Starbucks and a clothing store. Fashion icon. My plan was simple. Sell all the loot I didn't need from the tournament, buy better gear, and head out. I picked the commercial district instead of the Awakeners Association building because, and this is important, you can haggle here. A man's got to stretch his credits. But first things first. Before any shopping could happen, I had a little matter to attend to. My level 10 mythic passive skill was still waiting to be rolled. Priorities, people. Always spin the gacha before you go grocery shopping. That's just common sense. Alright, before I went shopping, I had some unfinished business. The most important kind. Gacha time. System, spin that wheel. The golden roulette appeared, covered in glowing mythic runes, each one representing powers that would make every awakener on the planet sell their grandma to obtain. And me? I get them for free every level. Life's unfair, and for once I'm on the winning side. Please, please, please give me something for close combat. Here's my problem. I'm basically a walking artillery cannon. Amazing at turning distant enemies into modern art. But the second someone gets in my face, historically not great. Gunners who get rushed by assassins or berserkers tend to have very short, very explosive careers. And the wilderness isn't a nice open dungeon where I can snipe things from a mile away. It's tight corners, surprise attacks, and monsters jumping out of bushes screaming, dinner time. The pointer slowed down. Slowed down. Stopped. Ultimate Combat Mastery. Mythic grade instantly grants the host mastery of every hand-to-hand combat technique and cold weapon skill that has ever existed across all dimensions and timelines. All knowledge is fused into pure instinct. I asked, and the system delivered. My brain immediately got hit with what felt like someone downloading the entire history of martial arts directly into my skull through a fire hose. Every punch technique, every kick combo, every military killing art, every ancient legendary fighting style that people thought were myths, all of it crammed into my neurons in about 1 second flat. My muscles rewired themselves on the spot. I could feel it. Every fiber knew exactly what to do. I instinctively touched my pistol and my shotgun, and my brain instantly mapped out 17 different ways to use them as melee weapons to block, counter, and absolutely demolish anyone dumb enough to get close. Before this skill, oh no, someone's in melee range, guess I'll die. After this skill, oh no, someone's in melee range. For them, I am now a walking gun turret and a martial arts god. I'm the entire army. I'm the video game character who specced into every skill tree simultaneously, and somehow it worked. Okay, fangirling over my own powers aside, time to go shopping. I hit up the central commercial street, which is basically the Beverly Hills of Xinjiang City. Holographic billboards everywhere, fancy stores with names like Treasure Pavilion and Divine Arms Workshop, gorgeous greeters at every door. And then there's me, walking through like a blood-soaked gremlin who just crawled out of a monster's stomach. People were looking at me like I'd wandered into a 5-star restaurant wearing a garbage bag. I picked a shop called Tianbao Tower. Looked reputable enough. Welcome to Tianbao Tower, chirped this pretty hostess in a traditional dress, flashing her professional smile. Then she actually saw me. The smile stayed, but her eyes said, "Security?" She literally stepped back from me like I was contagious. "Ma'am, it's just goblin blood. It washes off." Probably. She pawned me off on this young appraiser kid named Xiao Li who was so bored he was mid-yawn when I walked up. He gave me that classic, broke customer, don't care, look. Didn't even bother making eye contact. Just mumbled, "Show me what you got," like I was about to pull out 3 rusty coins and a button. So I opened my storage ring and dumped everything onto the counter. Crash. A mountain of glowing loot avalanched across the display. C-rank magic cores, D-rank equipment, D-rank skill books, Spider Queen drops, still practically steaming fresh. Xiao Lixian froze on his face like someone hit pause on a video. His eyes went from, "I'd rather be anywhere else," to, "Is this real life?" in 0.3 seconds. The kid looked like he'd seen a ghost. A very expensive, very shiny ghost. He started screaming for backup. "Elder Du! Elder Du! Get out here!" Out shuffled this white-haired old man in traditional clothes. The shop's chief appraiser, decades of experience, seen it all type. Cool as a cucumber. He examined the Spider Queen's magic core and actually got impressed. Said the quality was top tier, meaning the boss was killed so fast it didn't even have time to waste energy fighting back. Then he gave me the skeptical look. "You got all of this by yourself?" "Yep." He clearly didn't believe me. Thought I was some punk kid taking credit for a team effort. In his defense, I looked like a teenager who lost a fight with a mud puddle, not a one-man army. But then Xiao Li, bless his soul, glanced at his phone, looked at the trending news, looked back at me, looked at his phone again, and his brain finally connected the dots. You're Lin Yu? The guy who got first place with 150,000 points. The look on that old appraiser's face when the kid shouted that? Chef's kiss. Went from, "Sure thing, kid," to, "Oh, I may have made a terrible miscalculation," real fast. So Xiao Li just screamed my name like he spotted a celebrity at Walmart, and suddenly the entire shop turned into a nature documentary about meerkats. Every single head snapped toward me simultaneously. Lin Yu? The Lin Yu, 150,000 points guy? No way, he looks like he lost a fight with a dumpster. That hostess in the pretty dress? The one who treated me like I was radioactive 5 minutes ago? She slapped her hand over her mouth so fast, she almost knocked herself out. Her face went from, "EW, peasant," to, "Oh, I just disrespected a legend," at the speed of light. I could literally see her soul leaving her body. She looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her whole, and honestly, the floor was probably considering it. Old Man Du, the chief appraiser who definitely thought I was some lying teenager 30 seconds ago, stared at me with completely new eyes. The man went through all 5 stages of grief in about 2 seconds and landed on pure awe. "You're really Lin Yu?" "Yep." And that's when the old man's brain finally connected all the dots. The C-rank magic core, the D-rank gear, the solo clear, the 150,000 points, 1 F-rank gunner, 0 teammates. His expression was like watching a computer crash and reboot. I could almost hear the Windows startup sound playing behind his eyes. "Wonderful. Young hero, you've brought glory to our entire city." That flipped the switch for everyone else. Suddenly the whole shop turned into my personal fan club. He's the pride of Xinjiang City. Who says F-rank is trash? Lin Yu proved them wrong. Anyone who calls Gunner a garbage class is catching these hands from me. 5 minutes ago, nobody wanted to stand within 10 feet of me. Now they're ready to start a street fight in my honor. The power of being famous, truly magical. Did I get emotional? Did I shed a grateful tear? Absolutely not. I know exactly how this works. These same people wouldn't spit on me if I was on fire back, when I was the Liu family's unwanted stepchild. This world runs on strength. Period. Today I'm a hero. If I'd shown up still weak and pathetic, I'd be invisible. That's just how it is. So, old dude, can we maybe look at my stuff now? Oh, right. Got carried away. The old man plopped down and whipped out his magnifying glass like a kid with a new toy. And then the numbers started rolling in. Goblin Commander Magic Core, high purity, perfectly preserved. Market price 15,000 credits, but we'll give you 16,000. D-rank melee armor with toughness trait, 10% physical damage reduction. 30,000 credits. D-rank skill book, heavy strike, warrior class staple. 50,000 credits. Each price he announced. Xiao Li and the hostess looked like they were going to faint. My pile of junk was worth more than their combined lifetime salaries. And I just dumped it on the counter like I was emptying my pockets of loose change. The disrespect was unintentional, but absolutely hilarious. Old Du was giving fair prices too, even above market value. Tianbao Tower clearly knew how to keep customers happy. Smart business. But then, I pulled out the grand finale. I placed that glowing green heart on the counter, the one that was still pulsing like it was alive. The venom core from the mutant spider general. Old Du's hands froze. His whole demeanor changed. He examined it under his magnifying glass for what felt like an eternity, leaned back, closed his eyes like a monk meditating, and then opened them with an expression so serious you'd think I'd handed him a nuclear launch code. This is a mutant spider general's venom heart. The rune detonated. Venom heart, the legendary material that can mutate your class traits. The drop rate is lower than winning the lottery. This guy isn't lucky, he's literally chosen by God. Every eyeball in the building locked onto that little green heart like it was the Holy Grail. And I get it. For most awakeners stuck with mediocre classes, this thing represents a chance to completely rewrite their destiny. It's basically a golden ticket from Willy Wonka, except instead of chocolate you get superpowers. Xiao Li's jaw was on the floor. The hostess looked like she'd forgotten how to breathe. Even people who had no business being interested were practically drooling. Old Du was holding the heart with trembling hands. And this is a guy who's spent decades appraising rare items. Nothing shakes him. But this thing had him shook. He looked up at me with the most intense stare I've received all day, and considering today's events, that's saying something. Linyu, do you have any idea what this thing means? I just stood there, chill as ever. I already knew what it did thanks to my system. But watching a room full of grown adults collectively lose their minds over something I picked up as a bonus drop, entertaining doesn't even begin to cover it. Do you know what this thing means? Old Du asked me like he was about to deliver a TED Talk. Yeah, kinda. And no, you don't. Old Du went full concerned grandpa mode. Grabbed me by the metaphorical shoulders and started dropping statistics like a college professor having a breakdown. In the last 100 years, only 3 people have successfully absorbed one of these. Hundreds died trying. And that's not even counting the ones who survived but ended up permanently crippled, alive but wishing they weren't. He was practically yelling at this point. 99% failure rate. That's not gambling. That's suicide with extra paperwork. I gotta say, the old man's passion was touching. He genuinely didn't want to see me die. Unlike, literally everyone else in my life who's been actively trying to murder me. The crowd backed him up immediately. He's right. Just sell it. 1% is basically zero. Don't throw your life away. And they weren't wrong, from their perspective. If I were a normal person, trying to absorb this thing would be like playing Russian roulette with 5 bullets loaded and 1 empty chamber. Terrible odds. Absolutely brain-dead decision. But I'm not normal, am I? See, what nobody in this room knows is that my system already knocked the failure rate down from 99% to 70%. That's not amazing odds, sure, but it's the difference between absolutely suicidal and probably survivable if I'm smart about it. I went from playing Russian roulette to playing slightly less deadly Russian roulette. Progress. Besides, 10 years of being the Liu family's punching bag taught me one thing. I will never settle for good enough. These people telling me to play it safe? Easy advice to give when your life hasn't been a dumpster fire since age 6. I didn't get the system just to be a slightly above average gunner who plays it safe and retires at 40. F rank is trash? Cool. Watch me take this 30% chance and flip the entire table. Old Du saw me going quiet and thought he was winning the argument. Big mistake. He went for the kill shot. Linyu, just sell it to us. Name your price. We'll pay anything. He held up 5 fingers like a game show host. 500,000 credits. 500,000. The entire room gasped so hard I thought someone was going to pass out. 500,000 credits. That's a whole apartment in the good part of town. Lifetime financial security for a normal family. Enough money to swim in like Scrooge McDuck. Every pair of eyes in the building turned to me, waiting for the obvious answer. And I reached over, plucked the heart right out of Old Du's trembling hands, and dropped it into my storage ring like I was pocketing loose change. Sorry, Old Du not selling. The silence was deafening. You could have heard a dust particle land. Old Du's face went through about 17 emotions in 2 seconds. Shock, confusion, anger, despair, more anger. He pointed at me with a shaking finger like I'd just told him I was dropping out of school to become a professional clown. You're insane. You're throwing away your life for a 1% fantasy, but here's what I didn't tell anyone. I'm not absorbing it right now anyway. I'm not stupid. 70% failure rate still means 7 out of 10 times I'd die. I'll wait until I have better preparation, maybe more levels, maybe another system buff. This green heart is going in my pocket like a savings bond. I'll cash it in when the time is right. But explaining, hey, I have a magical cheat system that improves my odds, would get me institutionalized faster than it would get me believed. So I just bowed politely. Old do, I appreciate your kindness. But my mind is made up. The old man stared at me, realized I was an immovable object, and just deflated. Let out the longest sigh in human history, muttered, "Everyone has their own path," and shuffled back into the inner room looking like I'd personally ruined his week. Even his back looked sad. I felt a little guilty, honestly. The man was trying to save my life, and I basically told him, "No thanks. I choose chaos." The crowd, naturally, had opinions. What an idiot. Turned down $500,000 to go die. He rejected every university and this. He's completely lost it. Yeah. Add it to the pile. I'm building a collection of hot takes about my stupidity at this point. Gonna frame them on my wall someday. I turned to Xiao Li, who was standing there looking like his brain had been factory reset. Hey, can we finish the transaction, HUH? Oh, yes. Right away, Boss Lin. Suddenly I'm, Boss Lin. Funny how that works. The hostess, "Miss, I don't want your dirty peasant smell on me," from earlier, rushed over with a cup of fancy tea, practically bowing as she handed it to me. "Mr. Lin, please have some tea. So sorry about before. Please forgive my terrible, terrible rudeness." She was smiling so hard her face muscles were probably cramping. I took the tea, sipped it, said nothing. Let her marinate in the awkwardness. Sometimes silence is the best revenge. Xiao Li tallied everything up, 237,000 credits total. Old Du had apparently left instructions to round it up to 240,000 as a bonus. Even while thinking I was a suicidal maniac, the man gave me extra money. What a legend. I watched the number hit my account. 240,000 credits. 240,000. I walked in looking like a homeless war veteran, and I'm walking out richer than most people will ever be. Money is confidence. Money is options. And right now, I've got enough to completely gear up for the wilderness like a one-man military expedition. Time to go shopping for real. 2 assassination squads and 1 angry bald guy with a tiger tattoo are heading my way, and I'm out here buying upgrades like it's Black Friday. Life is good when you don't know people are trying to kill you. Time to go shopping for things that go boom and stab. Hey Xiao Li, you got any good sniper rifles and military knives? The kid's eyes lit up like I'd just told him Christmas came twice. Of course, Boss Lin. We've got everything from D rank to B rank. Whatever you want. He took me to the weapons section, and honestly, it was like walking into a candy store except everything could kill you. My kind of place. See, my current main gun, the Storm K2, is great for turning things into Swiss cheese at close to medium range. But the wilderness is big. Wide open spaces, long sight lines. Monsters I'd rather delete from a comfortable half-mile away. I needed reach. Xiao Li pulled out this sleek black beauty called the Windchaser A3 C-rank sniper rifle. 1,000-meter range. Built-in silencer and scope. Looked like it was designed by someone who really hated things that were far away. I picked it up. Cold. Heavy. Perfect. The stats weren't mind-blowing for a C rank. Decent accuracy, manageable recoil, but with my mythic passives boosting everything, this thing would be a monster deletion machine. 15,000 credits for controlled long-range murder? Sold. Then I grabbed a C-rank military knife called Shadow Fong. Pitch black blade, faint cold glow, built-in armor penetration and poison effect. With my new ultimate combat mastery passive, this knife in my hands was basically a war crime waiting to happen. 8,000 credits. Worth every penny. Finally, I upgraded my entire outfit. Ditched the blood-soaked tactical rags for a D rank, Nightwalker, suit, better armor, plus stealth and sound dampening. 1,000 credits to go from Walking Bloodstain to Silent Predator, fashion and function. Total damage to my wallet, 240,000 credits. Every last penny. Spent faster than a teenager with their first paycheck. Do I regret it? Not even slightly. Money grows back. Internal organs don't. When I walked out of the changing room, Xiao Li literally forgot how to speak. I went in looking like a war refugee and came out looking like the final boss of an action movie. The whole vibe shifted from homeless teenager to if you see me, it's already too late. I thanked Xiao Li, walked out the door, and called a ride straight to the north gate, the only exit to the wilderness. The car ride was actually kind of nice. City lights zooming past, everything peaceful and pretty. Enjoy it while it lasts, I thought. Because on the other side of that wall, peace is a foreign concept. The north gate itself? Intimidating. 100-meter wall of solid alloy, bristling with searchlights and energy cannons. Giant blood-red letters carved into the top. Humanity endures. Real cheerful welcome mat. Beyond the gate was the buffer zone. What used to be suburbs before monsters turned it into a post-apocalyptic movie set. Crumbling buildings, overgrown weeds, rusted cars casting creepy shadows under dying streetlights. I walked through it alone. My footsteps echoed in the silence like a metronome counting down to something. My enhanced senses were cranked to maximum. I could feel everything within 100 meters. Every breeze, every rustle, every heartbeat. I headed toward an abandoned factory area. Seemed like a good place to set up base before diving deeper into the wild. What I didn't know, but am now telling you because hindsight is 20/20ths, was that I'd walked straight into the most overcrowded ambush in assassination history. 500 meters behind me, Wang Biao and his merry band of idiots were creeping along like the world's worst stealth players. The bald tiger tattoo maniac was literally licking his lips while pulling out a cleaver the size of a car door. Surround him. Don't let him escape, he yelled at his 15 goons, who scattered like wolves except wolves are actually quiet, and these guys sounded like a marching band falling downstairs. These are black market thugs who think jumping a level 10 newbie is going to be easy pickings. Adorable. But wait, there's more. Because apparently my assassination dance card was fully booked tonight. On top of a crumbling building even further away, two shadowy figures were watching everything unfold like they had VIP seats at the Kill Lin Yu show. Ghost hand. Tall, creepy voice, twirling a knife that glowed poisonous green in the moonlight. Blood raven. Masked, emotionless, radiating, I murder people professionally, and I'm very good at it, energy. The Night Owl Assassins. The A-rank killers Lu Zhenxiong hired. Ghost Hand noticed the Black Tiger gang closing in on me and asked if they should clear them out first. Blood Raven said nah. Let the amateurs go first. Use them as guinea pigs to test what I can do. Then swoop in for the real capture. The Lu family paid good money, Blood Raven said. Let's make sure they get their money's worth. So there I was, walking into an abandoned factory, feeling cool in my new outfit, completely unaware that behind me was a gang of 15 armed thugs being watched by two elite assassins who were all there specifically to ruin my evening. I had more people trying to kill me than most people have at their birthday party. The wilderness hadn't even started yet, and I was already the most popular guy in the murder industry. I walked into that abandoned factory and immediately thought, this place is perfect. Rusty pipes, giant shipping containers, steel beams everywhere. It was like someone built a custom FPS map just for me. If this were a video game, I'd give the level designer 5 stars. Now, did I know people were following me? Oh, absolutely. My enhanced senses picked up these clowns from a mile away. 13 of them, creeping around like they invented stealth. Spoiler, they did not. First things first, I set up some bonus surprises at the entrances. Trip mines, courtesy of a freebie from Tianbao Tower. Think of them as aggressive welcome mats. Then I climbed on top of a shipping container, set up my brand new Windchaser A3, and looked through the scope. Beautiful. 3 times magnification. Crystal clear. I could see every single one of these idiots sneaking around like they were in a heist movie. Except the movie was terrible, and they were all extras about to get cut from the script. 13 targets. Multiple directions. Classic pincer formation. So the game begins. Target number 1. Some guy crouching behind oil barrels, thinking he was invisible. My crosshair settled right between his eyebrows. He had no idea. Literally zero. I squeezed the trigger. Thunk. The silencer ate the sound. His head. Well, let's just say it stopped being a head. Watermelon at a summer party vibes. He dropped like someone unplugged him. My system immediately started throwing notifications at me like confetti. Range bonus. Damage bonus. Health bonus. Perception bonus. Shield layers. Every kill is literally a stat upgrade for me. These guys aren't enemies. They're walking experience potions with bad attitudes. The remaining 12 freaked out. He has a sniper. Find cover. Old 3 is dead. They scattered like cockroaches when you turn on the lights. Suddenly nobody wanted to be a hero anymore. Wang Biao, Mr. Tiger Tattoo himself, was sitting 100 meters back, hearing all this through his radio, and getting furious. He kicked his goatee sidekick and started screaming orders. Suppress him. Shoot everything. Flush him out. So they did. Every single goon opened fire on the factory like they were trying to demolish it with bullets alone. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Sparks flying everywhere, metal ringing, absolute chaos. And me? I was lying flat on my container, completely unbothered. Their garbage old-model guns couldn't penetrate a shipping container. They couldn't even scratch my D-rank armor. This was literally like being attacked by a fireworks show. Loud, flashy, completely harmless. They were also trash-talking between magazines. Come out and fight like a man. Hiding in the dark is coward stuff. I'll chop you into 18 pieces and feed you to dogs. Sir, you're shooting at metal boxes and missing. Maybe work on that before you start planning my funeral menu. I just waited. Patient. Calm. Like a cat watching mice run around pretending to be brave. After about a minute of wasting approximately 3,000 bullets on nothing, they stopped. The silence settled in. And then, predictably, the tough guy talk started. Maybe we got him. Gunners are squishy. One stray bullet probably finished him. Boss, he's not moving. Wang Biao, hearing this, finally unclenched. Send 2 guys in to check if he's dead. 2 brave volunteers popped out from cover and started creeping toward the factory. Bold move. Stupid, but bold. They had no idea I'd been watching them the entire time. My scope was already locked on the left guy's forehead before he took his 3rd step. He was 1 second from reaching cover. 1 second too slow. Thunk. Headshot number 2. Clean. Instant. Good night. The right guy saw his buddy drop, and his survival instincts kicked in. He tried to dive behind a rusted car. Good reflexes, actually. Unfortunately for him, good reflexes are still slower than a bullet traveling at several hundred meters per second. I racked the bolt. Fired. Thunk. Headshot number 3. 3 for 3. Perfect score. I should get a trophy. The remaining gang members had a collective mental breakdown. He's a ghost. He was waiting for us to come to him. Boss, we gotta run. Their bravado evaporated faster than water on a hot pan. Grown men, shaking behind cover, probably reconsidering every life choice that led them to this factory tonight. Wang Biao's face went from angry to pale to genuinely terrified. 3 shots. 3 instant headshots. No misses. No wasted movement. Even elite military snipers would struggle to do what I just did in the dark against moving targets, with a brand new gun I'd owned for about 2 hours. The big bad black tiger finally realized the truth. He didn't come hunting a sheep. He walked straight into the den of something that eats wolves for breakfast. Retreat. Fall back. Now, the greed switch in his brain flipped to survival mode. He wanted out. All of them did. Suddenly nobody cared about treasure or revenge or feeding me to dogs. But here's the thing about me that these people really should have researched before showing up. I don't let people leave. You came to MY Factory. You shot at MY Container. You threatened to chop me into pieces. Now you want to jest. Walk away. I put the sniper rifle away, pulled out my Storm K2 shotgun, and launched off that container like a human missile. 1 leap. Hit the ground running. Moving so fast, I probably looked like a black blur in the darkness. Close range. With my new ultimate combat mastery? With my shotgun that hits like a cannon? With shields stacking higher every kill? You want to leave now? Sorry, boys. Store's closed. Checkout time. Then I went full nightmare mode. My body moved like it had a mind of its own. Ultimate combat mastery turned me into a human blender with a shotgun. I was zipping through that factory like a ghost on caffeine, leaving afterimages behind me. First victim, some guy trying to run. He felt me coming, turned around, and found the barrel of my Storm K2 pressed directly against his face like a very aggressive hello. Boom. Upper body. Gone. Converted into modern art. Red modern art. Second victim, dude hiding behind a broken wall, thinking he was safe. I appeared behind him like a jump scare in a horror movie. He swung his machete at me. Cute. And I blocked it with my shotgun, twisted his blade out of his hand, smashed his jaw with the stock, and then shot him before he even hit the ground. My shotgun wasn't even a gun anymore. It was everything. A shield, a club, a battering ram, and a gun. Every part of it became a weapon under my combat mastery. The barrel for blocking, the stock for crushing, the trigger for, well, the obvious. I was playing a completely different game than these people. The Black Tiger Gang went from hunting party to slaughterhouse experience in about 30 seconds. Wang Biao, big bad Black Tiger himself, was running. Not fighting. Not commanding. Running. The feared underground king of West City The level 30 B-rank berserker who makes grown men cry, was scrambling on all fours away from a level 10 teenager like I was the boogeyman. His goons were screaming behind him. "Boss, wait. I don't want to die." He didn't even look back. Just pure panic sprinting. All that muscle, all that tough guy energy, all that gold chain swagger, absolutely useless against me. He couldn't process it. A gunner fighting in melee? Using a shotgun as a martial arts weapon? He probably thought I was a glitch in reality. He saw the buffer zone ahead, the safe area. Almost there. Freedom. Safety. Just a few more steps. Click. His foot touched something metal on the ground. Remember those trip mines I set up at the beginning? The ones I casually mentioned like they were no big deal? Yeah, I put them at the exit too. Because I'm not an amateur. You don't set traps only at the entrance and leave the back door open. That's villain 101, and these guys failed the course. Wang Biao looked down, saw the mine, had just enough time to scream, and oh, kaboom. The explosion lit up the entire area like daytime. This wasn't some cheap firecracker. It was a genuine spirit energy mine. Military-grade party popper. Wang Biao's massive body launched into the air like a rag doll, flew several meters, and cratered into the ground. His fancy armor looked like Swiss cheese. His two bodyguards behind him, they didn't even get a dramatic death. Just confetti. I walked out of the shadows, nice and slow, shotgun resting on my shoulder. Found Wang Biao lying in a pool of his own blood, coughing up everything inside him, pointing at me with a trembling finger. What kind of monster are you? A level 30 B-rank veteran. Couldn't believe he lost to a level 10 F-rank newbie. Honestly, same energy as everyone else who's underestimated me today. You'd think word would spread. I looked down at him. Next life, pick your targets better. Bang. Game over, Black Tiger. Thanks for the XP. But then, right as I was about to dust myself off, my enhanced senses screamed at me. Two new presences. Behind me, less than 50 meters. One to the left, one to the right. Perfect pincer formation. These two were nothing like the gang. Their heartbeats were calm, controlled, practically invisible. They'd merged with the darkness so perfectly that without my maxed-out perception, I would have never known they were there. Professionals. Real ones. The night owls had arrived. I slowly turned around and stared into the pitch-black nothing. Come out. Silence. But I could feel them. Feel their surprise that I detected them at all. A tiny spike in their heartbeat, just for a second, when I called them out. They hadn't expected that. Do I need to send a formal invitation? Or do you want to taste this too? I raised my shotgun toward the darkness. Then, slow clapping. The most annoying sound in any action scenario. Clap, clap, clap. Blood Raven stepped out of the shadows like he was walking onto a stage. Full black outfit, mask covering everything except his eyes, which were sharp enough to cut glass. Impressive, truly impressive, he said, sounding like a food critic reviewing a 5-star meal. A level 10 gunner wiping out the entire Black Tiger gang solo. You exceeded our expectations. What really surprises me is that you detected us. His gaze dropped to my shotgun. Your perception is unusual. While he was doing his villain monologue, I could feel Ghost Hand, the other one, sliding into position behind my right side. Silent as death. Poison dagger ready. The classic distract and backstab combo. One in front talking, one behind waiting to strike. Every escape route sealed. If I attacked either one, the other would gut me instantly. A perfect trap. I stood there, completely calm. Because panic is for people who don't have mythic-grade passive skills stacked to the ceiling. Let me guess, I said. The Liu family sent you. The look in Blood Raven's eyes told me everything I needed to know. So dear old adoptive daddy didn't even wait a full day before sending assassins. How heartwarming. Really feeling the family love tonight. All right then. Gang of thugs, deleted. Now it's time for the main course. 2 A-rank professional killers versus 1 teenager with a shotgun and anger issues. Let's dance. Blood Raven didn't even deny the Liu family connection. Just smiled and said he was more interested in me now. Wanted to know my secret. How an F-rank gunner could do all this. Want to know? I aimed my shotgun at his smug masked face. Beat me, and I'll tell you. He laughed like I'd just told the funniest joke of the century. Gave me the whole, confidence is good but overconfidence is foolish, speech. Dude, you're literally monologuing at me. We're in a fight, not a TED Talk. Then he got serious. And by serious, I mean his aura exploded. A-rank pressure slammed into the air like a wall of invisible concrete. The vibe went from casual villain banter to, oh, this guy actually is dangerous, real quick. Then he vanished. Not moved fast, vanished. 1 second he was standing there. Next second, he was 5 meters in front of me, hand shaped into a claw, going straight for my throat. Didn't even bother pulling out a weapon. That's how little he thought of me. Was gonna choke a man to death barehanded out of pure disrespect. And I won't lie, that speed was on another level. Way beyond anything I'd faced before. But here's where it gets fun. Instead of dodging backward like any sane person, I did something that broke both assassins' brains simultaneously. I dropped my shotgun. Just let it fall. On purpose. Blood Raven's claw was inches from my throat when I twisted my body at an angle that probably shouldn't be physically possible, slipped past his attack like water around a rock, stepped into his space, and whipped out Shadow Fong. One fluid motion. No hesitation. No wasted movement. Pure instinct courtesy of ultimate combat mastery, doing what it does best. My knife carved a vicious arc aimed directly at his heart. Blood Raven's eyes went from, "This is easy," to, "Wait, what?" Faster than I've ever seen an expression change. He somehow twisted his torso at the last microsecond, saved his heart, but my blade still sliced open his left ribs. Blood sprayed. He rocketed backward, putting 15 meters between us instantly. Then he looked down at his wound and saw the skin turning purple-black around the cut. Shadow Fong's poison effect activated. "Welcome to the party, buddy." The look on his face? Priceless. This man, a famous A-rank gold-tier assassin who's been killing people professionally for who knows how long, just got cut by a level 10 rookie on their first exchange. The sheer offense he felt was almost funnier than the wound itself. And Ghost Hand, hiding in the shadows? His brain completely blue-screened. He knows Blood Raven's strength better than anyone. He can't even beat Blood Raven in close combat himself. And some random kid with a knife just drew first blood in one move? "So," I said, walking toward Blood Raven with Shadow Fong dripping, "you're not that impressive after all." Inside my head, though, I was having a party. Ultimate combat mastery is the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. That whole dodge step draw slash sequence? My body did it on autopilot. I didn't think. I didn't plan. My muscles just knew. Like I'd practiced that exact counter 10,000 times in a past life. Every angle perfect. Every motion stripped down to pure efficiency. This is what fighting at the absolute peak feels like. And it feels like cheating. Blood Raven was not smiling anymore. All that smug superiority evaporated, replaced by dead serious killing intent. He finally understood. I'm not a gunner who got lucky. I'm a close combat monster wearing a gunner costume. Halloween came early, and I'm dressed as everyone's worst nightmare. Ghost Hand. Stop hiding. We go together. The fact that an A-rank assassin had to call for backup against a level 10 newbie? That's going on my resume. That's getting framed on my wall. Ghost Hand materialized from the shadows. Now both of them faced me. Metal claws on Blood Raven's arms gleaming, poison dagger in Ghost Hand's grip glowing sickly green. They attacked simultaneously. Blood Raven from the front. Savage, rapid, every swipe carrying enough force to tear through steel. Ghost Hand flickering around my blind spots like a vengeful shadow, waiting for the perfect moment to stick that toxic blade somewhere painful. Their teamwork was flawless. Two veteran A-rank killers who'd trained together, fought together, killed together. A coordinated death machine. Any normal awakener would have been ripped apart in seconds. I am not a normal awakener. Every claw strike Blood Raven through, I dodged by the absolute minimum distance. Millimeters, not meters. His attacks were supposed to be unpredictable. Multiple feints layered into each swing, real strikes hidden behind fake ones. The kind of combat technique that confuses even fellow A-rankers. Against me, it was like watching someone fight in slow motion. My body read every feint, ignored the fakes, blocked the real attacks, and countered in the gaps between his combos. His unpredictable patterns were as readable as a children's book. Blood Raven was losing his mind mid-fight. I could see it in his eyes, the growing horror as nothing he tried worked. He felt like a toddler swinging a stick at a brick wall. Every trick in his arsenal, decades of assassination experience, and he couldn't land a single clean hit. Meanwhile, I was defending against both of them and still finding time to counterattack. just casually slipping in cuts and jabs between blocks like I was multitasking. "What are you?" was basically the theme of everyone's evening. A gunner, technically. But underneath that, every martial art ever invented, fused into pure instinct, running on a body that gets stronger with every kill. I'm the final boss, gentlemen. And you walked right into MY Arena. Ghost Hand was having the worst night of his professional career. Every sneaky backstab, every clever angle, every assassin trick he'd spent years perfecting. I shut them all down without even looking. My enhanced senses tracked him like a GPS. The man was basically fighting with a kick me sign on his back that only I could see. Meanwhile, I was getting annoyed. Not scared, annoyed. Two A-rank killers double-teaming me, and I couldn't find an opening to finish either one. It was like being stuck in a really intense game of whack-a-mole, except the moles had poisoned weapons. Then one of them gave me a tiny opening, and I thought, time to get creative. I blocked Bloodraven's claws with one hand, and, without even turning around, whipped out my Nova P1 pistol and blind-fired at Ghost Hand behind me. The bullet grazed his scalp, close enough to give him a surprise haircut. Ghost Hand nearly had a heart attack. I could practically hear his soul leave his body and come back. After that, he gave up on sneaking entirely, switched to throwing knives from a distance like a frightened dart player. Smart man. Wrong decision, but smart instinct. Now here's where I made my big brain play. Bloodraven charged at me with his claws. Ghost Hand launched 3 throwing knives from the side. Classic death sandwich, supposed to be impossible to dodge both. Instead of backing up like a normal person, I charged forward, straight at Bloodraven. His face. Is this idiot suicidal? Then, at the exact last microsecond, I dropped. Not ducked, dropped. Full ground slide, practically kissing the pavement, skating under Bloodraven's claws and Ghost Hand's knives simultaneously. And I slid directly toward Ghost Hand. The look on his face when he realized I wasn't running from him, but toward him, that was the face of a man who just realized the mouse was actually a cat this whole time. He tried to back up. Too slow. I planted my hand on the ground, coiled my entire body like a spring, and launched upward. Shadow Fong aimed straight at his heart. It happened so fast he couldn't even lift his arms to block. Just stood there watching death fly at him in high definition. Squelch. Shadow Fong punched through his armor like it was tissue paper and buried itself hilt deep in his chest. He looked down at the knife handle sticking out of him, mouth opening and closing like a confused fish. Guh, sorry buddy, no dramatic last words today. I put the Nova P1 against his head and pulled the trigger before he could finish his sentence. Bang. Headshot. Good night, Ghost Hand. Thanks for the XP. Ghost Hand. Bloodraven lost it. Completely. His partner of however many years just got deleted in front of his eyes, and his brain switched from professional assassin to rage zombie. His aura went absolutely berserk, power spiking way beyond what he'd shown before. He turned into a literal red blur and rocketed at me screaming about tearing me apart. Grief-fueled power-up. Classic. Seen it in every anime. Dangerous, but predictable. I kicked Ghost Hand's body out of the way. Sorry, nothing personal. You're just in my workspace. Spun around and fired 3 shots from my pistol in a triangle pattern to cut off his approach angles. But enraged Bloodraven was on a different level. He zigzagged through the bullet gaps like the world's angriest pinball, somehow not losing any speed, and came down on me with both claws aimed at my skull. Full power. Everything he had. A blow meant to split me in half from head to toe. It landed directly on my head, and absolutely nothing happened. His claws hit my kinetic barrier. 79 layers of invisible shield built up from every single kill tonight, and just rippled, like slapping the surface of a pond. 0 damage. 0 penetration. Not even a scratch. The look on Bloodraven's face was the most satisfying thing I've experienced since getting the system. This man put everything into that strike. His rage, his grief, his professional pride. And it bounced off me like a rubber ball off a brick wall. He froze. Brain error. Does not compute. That freeze lasted about 1 second. 1 second was all I needed. I twisted around him like a snake, got behind his back, and thrust Shadow Fong straight at his heart. The same move that killed his partner. But Bloodraven wasn't done yet. Some survival alarm in his lizard brain screamed loud enough to override his shock, and he activated his emergency skill, Blood Shadow Escape. His body exploded into a cloud of red mist and shot forward, reforming 15 meters away. He was gasping, bleeding from the side wound I'd given him earlier. Poison spreading. Emergency skill burned. Partner dead. Every single plan failed. And now he was staring at me with pure, unfiltered terror. Not anger anymore. Fear. What? What are you? A rank assassin. Hundreds of kills under his belt. Years of experience. And he was looking at a level 10 teenager like he'd just met the devil in person. His entire worldview, everything he believed about levels, classes, and power, shattered in one fight. My body has a shield you can't break. My combat skills are better than yours. My senses can track invisible assassins. I killed your partner in 2 seconds. And oh yeah, I'm F rank. Level 10. My class is literally considered the worst one in existence. That's what I wanted to say. What I actually said was cooler. Who I am doesn't matter. I raised Shadow Fong, still dripping with Ghost Hand's blood. What matters is that tonight, you both die here. Short. Cold. Efficient. Because at the end of the day, I'm not here to give speeches. I'm here to collect experience points. And Bloodraven was worth a lot of experience points. Bloodraven was standing there staring at me like I was a math problem he couldn't solve. The fearsome A-rank assassin, killer of countless people, veteran of 100 missions, and his brain was just buffering. I flicked the blood off Shadow Fong like I was shaking water off an umbrella. Kept my pistol casually pointed in his direction. You know, just as a friendly reminder. What happened? You were just screaming about tearing me apart. Stage fright. His face twitched so hard I thought he was having a seizure. The embarrassment was fighting the fear, and neither was winning. I was just careless, he screamed. You think killing that trash Ghost Hand means you can beat me? Then he went full anime power-up mode. His muscles inflated like someone hooked him up to a bicycle pump. His skin turned dark red. He literally got taller. Some A-rank skill called Bloodthirst Frenzy, or whatever. Fine, I thought. You want to abandon technique and go pure brute force? Let's see how that works out for you. He exploded off the ground, cracked the actual concrete, and came at me like a human missile. Twice as fast as before. Enough force to flatten an armored truck. Zero finesse. Just raw, stupid, desperate power. I didn't move. Didn't flinch. Didn't even blink. At the absolute last instant, I stepped into his attack. My body ghosted along his arm like a leaf in the wind. Right hand smacked my pistol into his wrist joint. Crack. Wrist. Broken. His attack stuttered. Before the pain signal even reached his brain, my knee was already buried in his stomach like a battering ram. He folded in half like a lawn chair. While he was doubled over, I spun my knife, reversed grip, and buried it in his shoulder. Blood everywhere. Screaming everywhere. Dignity nowhere. Impossible, he was babbling, stumbling backward, clutching his shoulder like it might fall off. The intel said you were F-rank trash. Lu Zhenxiong, that OLD bastard, set me up? Oh, so now it's Lu Zhenxiong's fault. Love how villains immediately start blaming each other the second things go wrong. Professional assassin to professional tattletale in 3 seconds. Are those your last words? I raised my pistol. That's when survival instinct beat pride. I watched it happen in real time. His eyes did the calculation, dignity versus living. Living won by a landslide. He crushed some dark red bead in his hand. Boom! Blood mist exploded everywhere, covering his body. Some emergency escape technique, called blood escape, that apparently costs 10 years of his lifespan to use. 10 years of life just to run away from a level 10 teenager. I'm putting that on my business card. I'll remember this. His voice echoed from inside the blood cloud. Next time I come back, you're dead. Classic villain exit line. Very original. Never heard that before. The red mist launched skyward. He was about to disappear into the night like a dramatic coward. You think I said you could leave? I swapped to my Storm K2 faster than a blink. Boom. Boom. First shot shredded his blood mist shield. Second shot connected with his body midair. He screamed like a tea kettle. Boom. 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 I kept firing. Every shell packed with mythic passive enhanced spirit energy that ignored his defenses entirely. Each pellet tore through his protective aura, through his skin, and detonated inside him. No, his final scream echoed across the sky as his body ripped apart, like a piñata at the world's worst birthday party. Blood rain. Meat confetti. Bone fragments. The legendary A-rank assassin of Xinjiang City was now a scattered collection of spare parts decorating the ground. Not even a complete corpse left. Just Abstract art. I lowered my shotgun, stared at the mess. So that was A rank? Kinda disappointing, honestly. But then, because nothing in my life is ever simple, my senses caught something weird in the pile of human leftovers. A tiny black crow, palm-sized, blood-red eyes, struggling to fly, staring at me with pure hatred. Blood Raven's final secret technique. He'd poured his last sliver of soul into this bird. If it escaped back to his organization, he could apparently rebuild his body. It launched itself into the sky like a tiny hate-filled rocket. I raised my gun, then stopped. I let it go. Why? Because I wanted him to deliver a message. Go ahead. Fly home, little birdie. I smiled as it vanished into the darkness. Tell Lu Zhenxiu. Tell your bosses. Tell everyone. I'll be waiting in the wilderness. Come find me whenever you're ready. Let's think about the scoreboard tonight, shall we? Black Tiger Gang, wiped. Boss included. Ghost Hand, A rank assassin dead. Blood Raven, A rank assassin exploded. Currently a traumatized bird. Me, not a scratch. Got new gear. Gained levels. Having fun. And tomorrow? Tomorrow I actually start my wilderness training. Tonight was just the tutorial. Time for my favorite post-combat activity, looting corpses. Look, I know it sounds gross, but in the wilderness, looting the dead isn't a moral dilemma. It's a survival skill. And like any skill, it requires practice. Consider this my training montage. First stop, Ghost Hand's headless body. Poor guy didn't even get to use his trump card before I deleted him. Let's see what Santa left in his pockets. Item 1. A pitch-black dagger with a wavy blade that looked like it was forged by someone who really hated living things. I picked it up, and the system info popped up immediately. Spectre's Sting. A rank. Ignores 30% physical defense. Inflicts nerve paralysis poison on contact. A rank dagger. Just casually sitting in a dead man's holster like it was nothing. I did a little knife spin, felt like butter in my hands. Lighter than Shadow Fong, but infinitely more lethal. With ultimate combat mastery backing me up, this thing would turn me into a close-range nightmare factory. Thanks for the upgrade, Ghost Hand. You were a terrible assassin, but an excellent loot pinata. Item 2. A fancy golden crystal card. Anonymous stored value card. Untraceable. Very popular in the criminal underworld apparently. Balance. 5 million credits. 5 million. I just spent my entire 240,000 like it was a fortune, and this guy was walking around with 5 million as pocket money. The assassination business has insane profit margins. I chose the wrong career. Kidding. Sort of. Next stop, Wang Biao's. Remains is doing heavy lifting here because the mine turned him into something you'd find at the bottom of a blender. His loot was less impressive. Some wrinkled cash. A broken machete. That ridiculous gold chain, which honestly might be worth something if I could find a pawn shop that doesn't ask questions. Oh, and a storage ring on his finger. Tiny. 2 cubic meters, stuffed with random junk and some ammo. Like rummaging through a hoarder's garage sale. But hey, free stuff is free stuff. I cleaned out everything worth taking, took one last look at the battlefield, bodies, blood, destruction, and figured the local scavenger wolves would handle cleanup. I could already hear them howling in the distance. Nature's janitors, arriving right on schedule. I glanced back at Xinjiang City's massive walls one last time, then vanished into the night. Now here's the part one didn't witness, but let me tell you what happened back in the city because it's absolutely hilarious. Deep underground, in a converted subway station that screamed, evil headquarters, the Night Owl organization's local boss was sitting on a throne made from monster bones. His code name was Grave Burial, and he wore a white human skin mask because apparently being a normal level of creepy wasn't enough. This guy was getting impatient. His 2 best killers had been gone for 2 hours to handle what should have been a 5-minute job. Then, crash, a half-dead black crow smashed through the ventilation shaft and flopped onto the floor, transforming into Blood Raven's translucent ghost form. The man was literally a flickering candle of a soul, crawling on the ground. Safe. Me. Where's Ghost Hand? Dead. The kid. He's a monster. You could have heard a pin drop. The room temperature dropped about 10 degrees. Grave Burial was not amused. 2 A-rank killers sent to handle 1 F-rank teenager. Result: 1 dead, 1 reduced to a see-through ghost having a panic attack on the floor. Blood Raven tried to explain. The intel was wrong. He's not F-rank. He's a gun and combat dual class. He one-shot Ghost Hand. He tanked my strongest attack with his bare hands. His voice was getting weaker with every word. Burning his life force for that escape technique had basically used up everything he had left. Did Grave Burial show mercy to his loyal, traumatized soldier who barely survived a horrifying encounter? Did he offer comfort, medical aid, a nice cup of tea? Nope. He stepped on Bloodraven's soul and crushed it. Failures don't get to negotiate. Just stomped his own guy's ghost like a bug on the sidewalk. Bloodraven screamed once, and then, poof, gone forever. The man survived me only to get murdered by his own boss for bringing bad news. Talk about a toxic work environment. 0 stars on Glassdoor. But here's the really fun part. Grave Burial wasn't scared. He was excited. His greedy little brain went, if this kid can do all that, he must have something incredibly valuable. So he issued a blood kill order. 20 million credit bounty. On me. 20 million. I went from worthless F-rank trash to 20 million credit bounty target in one night. That's the fastest career growth in history. And it gets better. Grave Burial told his people to spread a rumor across the entire wilderness. Lin Yu is carrying an ancient legendary treasure. His plan? Let every greedy mercenary, bounty hunter, and solo fighter in the wasteland come after me first. Use them as cannon fodder to wear me down. Then swoop in when I'm exhausted and take everything. So to update my situation, professional assassin organization with a 20 million bounty on my head? Check. Every mercenary in the wilderness about to hunt me for imaginary treasure? Check. The entire criminal underworld thinking I'm a walking loot chest? Check. And me? I was somewhere in the darkness, happily heading deeper into the wilderness, completely oblivious, thinking, what a productive first night. I'm starting to think the universe has a very specific sense of humor, and I'm the punchline. I found a town. And by town, I mean a pile of shipping containers and monster bones held together by bad vibes and criminal intent. Welcome to Gravel Town. Not on any official map, populated exclusively by mercenaries, bounty hunters, and people whose LinkedIn would just say violence. The kind of place where asking someone's name is considered rude and asking about their crimes is considered small talk. I needed intel on the deeper wilderness zones, so I walked into the only real building, a bar called Silver Wolf, pushed open a door reinforced with mutant beast ribs, classy, and got slapped in the face by the smell of cheap booze and dried blood. Atmosphere, 5 stars. Would not recommend. Inside, adventurers were slamming tables, cursing about weather and monsters. Standard bar behavior for people who kill things for a living. I sat at the bar and ordered the fanciest thing on the menu, a cup of water, also a regional monster map. The bartender was a one-eyed guy with a scar that ran from his forehead to his chin like someone tried to unzip his face. He charged me 100 credits for water and 5,000 for the map. Highway robbery, but I just looted 5 million off a dead assassin, so whatever. I'm basically rich now. Found a corner seat and started eavesdropping. Not on purpose. My enhanced senses just pick up everything whether I want them to or not. It's like having permanent surround sound with no mute button. And BOY, what I heard was interesting. Night Owls just dropped a blood kill order. 20 million bounty, some bearded guy whispered, failing to actually whisper because he was breathing like a horse. His skinny friend leaned in. Forget the money. The kid supposedly has an ancient legendary treasure. That's why he could kill above his level. The phrase, ancient treasure, hit the room like a dinner bell at a dog kennel. Ears perked up everywhere. I could practically hear the greed circuits activating in every brain within a 20-meter radius. Cool. So not only is there a massive bounty on my head, but they've also spread a fake rumor that I'm carrying some legendary inheritance. Meaning every desperate, greedy, morally bankrupt fighter in the entire wilderness is now motivated to hunt me down. I'm not a person anymore. I'm a walking loot box with legs, and everyone wants to open me. While I'm processing this delightful news, I caught the one-eyed bartender sneaking a hand signal to a table in the corner. 5 mercenaries, matching red fox tattoos on their chests. The Sand Fox Mercenary Squad, apparently notorious in these parts for being ruthless. Their leader had a hooked nose, predator eyes, and a smile that said, "I'm already spending your bounty money." He literally licked his lips while staring at me. "Sir, this is a bar, not a buffet." I finished my water, stood up, and walked straight out toward the wilderness. They followed. Obviously. My enhanced senses tracked all 5 of them like glowing dots on a radar. I could hear their heartbeats, their breathing, even the little excited tremors in their muscles. They thought they were being sneaky. They were about as sneaky as a marching band in a library. A real hunter never lets the prey hear their heartbeat, I thought. Yours are deafening. I led them to a narrow canyon. Perfect ambush geography. Then Hook-Nose called out, "Hey kid, stop!" I turned around. 5 of them, spread in a semicircle, all exits blocked. Textbook formation. Too bad the textbook didn't have a chapter on me. I smiled. You know why the night owls put a bounty on me? Hook-Nose sneered. Because you're worth money. Wrong. Because I just killed their 2 A-rank assassins. Silence. The kind of silence where you can hear 5 grown men's confidence evaporating simultaneously. The bounty notice mentioned the price. It did not mention what I'd done to earn that price. Hook-Nose's face went pale. A-rank? Your bluff. He never finished that sentence because I was already behind his teammate. Shadow Fong went through the guy's back and out his chest before anyone registered I'd moved. Dead before he hit the ground. 10 seconds on the clock. Shoot him. 3 guys opened fire with spirit rifles. Full auto. Panicking. Bullets everywhere. Bullets hitting everything except me. I weaved through the gunfire like a fish through water. These guys couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if the barn was shooting back. Mid-dodge, I pulled my Storm K2, spun, and fired a single blast at the guy reloading. His upper body became a memory. 8 seconds left. Monster. He's a monster. The last 2 turned to run. I didn't even chase. Just pulled out my Nova P1, casual as you please. Bang. Bang. 2 bullets. 2 running targets. 2 back-of-the-head bullseyes. They dropped like someone cut their puppet strings. 10 seconds total. 5 mercenaries. 1 survivor. Hook-Nose, standing alone, shaking so hard, he looked like a vibrating phone. I walked up and pressed my gun barrel against his forehead. The cold metal must have hit different because a warm puddle appeared at his feet. Dude literally wet himself. We've all been there. Well, no we haven't. But I'm trying to be sympathetic. Don't kill me. Daddy. Ancestor. Please. He went from tough mercenary to crying toddler in record time. Then he started frantically digging through his pockets and pulled out a broken metal plate. Take this. It's a fragment of the map to the Dragon Kingdom ancient ruins. We spent forever getting it. It's my life savings. Please. I took it. My eyebrows shot up. Dragon Kingdom ancient ruins. One of the legendary high-level secret realms from ancient times. Incredibly powerful, incredibly dangerous, and incredibly hard to get into. This metal fragment was basically a VIP ticket. Awakeners would kill for one of these. And this idiot was carrying it around like a library card. Score of a lifetime. My inner treasure goblin was doing cartwheels. I pocketed the fragment nice and slow, then looked down at Hook-Nose. I gave you the thing. You'll let me go, right? His eyes were practically begging, that last little spark of hope flickering. Of course, I nodded. His face lit up with pure relief. He started to stand, bang. His head popped like a watermelon at a Gallagher show. I holstered my pistol and glanced at the distant storm on the horizon. Let you go? After you gave me a ticket to the ancient ruins? That would be rude. Consider your death a thank you note. Today's earnings. 1 legendary ruin fragment, assorted mercenary loot, and the growing reputation as the scariest level 10 in the entire wasteland. Today's losses. 1 cup of water, 100 credits, and 1 map, 5,000 credits. I'd call that a pretty solid return on investment. Sand and wind everywhere. Welcome to the wilderness outer zone, where the only law is don't die, and most people fail that one too. I was walking toward an old highway toll station, crumbling concrete, rusty metal, classic post-apocalyptic real estate. My enhanced senses were running at full blast, painting a 3D radar map of everything within a kilometer. And what did that radar show me? 20+ heartbeats, scattered across both sides of the ruins, up on elevated positions, behind cover. A whole welcoming committee. The Night Owl bounty was working exactly as designed. 2,000 million credits plus rumors of ancient treasure had turned every desperate lowlife in the region into an amateur assassin. These guys had set up an elaborate ambush. Landmines in a crisscross pattern, snipers on the high ground, foot soldiers in the ruins. They'd clearly spent actual money and effort on this. Up on a billboard, their star sniper, Vulture was chewing gum and watching me through his scope, probably already mentally furnishing his new apartment with bounty money. Their radio chatter was adorable. Targets walking in. Wait for the mines. This kid has zero awareness, walking around like it's a grocery store. One guy warned them about the Sand Fox squad getting wiped out by me. Vulture's response. Sand Fox were trash. The confidence of people who are about to have a very bad day. I stopped walking. 3 meters from their minefield. 6 military-grade high-explosive fragmentation mines, arranged in a web pattern so clever that even a C-rank heavy tank build would get shredded. Every hunter held their breath. Is he onto us? Is he going to run? I looked around. Made eye contact with approximately 0 of them, but mentally cataloged every hiding spot. Then I lifted my foot and stomped directly on the mines. On purpose. What the F? Boom. 6 mines went off simultaneously. Massive fireball. Thousands of steel fragments. A literal mushroom cloud of dirt and fire. The ground caved in half a foot deep around me. Everything within the blast radius was carbonized. The hunters peeked out from cover, already celebrating. We got him. 2,000 million, baby. Wait, did we vaporize the treasure too? Their leader was screaming about wanting both the bounty and the ancient artifact. Greedy until the very end. Several guys rushed toward the blast zone, guns up, ready to sift through my ashes for loot. The smoke started clearing, and there I was, standing in the center of the crater. Not a scratch, not a burn, not a single hair out of place. My kinetic barrier, stacked to insane levels from every kill tonight, had eaten the entire explosion like a light snack. 6 military-grade bombs, and my shield just went. Was that it? The faint blue hexagonal energy field around my body hadn't even flickered hard. The 2 guys who'd rushed in closest froze like someone had hit pause on reality. Their legs locked up. I could see the exact moment their brains went from payday to we are going to die here. The radio went dead silent. Then the leader's voice came through, cracking like a teenager going through puberty. What the F-rank gunners don't have skills like that. A heavy tank's shield couldn't survive 6 mines. Shoot. Everyone shoot. Every gun in the area opened up. Rifles, submachine guns, someone even pulled out a portable rocket launcher. The entire toll station lit up like a fireworks factory explosion. Hundreds of rounds and mini rockets hammering into me from every direction. Results. Ripples on my shield. That's it. Little blue water ring effects, like raindrops on a pond. They might as well have been throwing popcorn. I stood there and took it. Didn't dodge. Didn't move. Just stood. Let them waste their entire ammunition supply shooting at someone they literally could not damage. It's the most disrespectful thing you can do in a fight. Refuse to acknowledge the attack is happening. While they were busy playing world's most useless firing squad, my senses locked onto the 3 snipers up high. Vulture and 2 buddies, frantically working their bolts, trying to find a weak spot in my barrier. They were 200 meters away, way beyond normal shotgun range. But my gunfire extension passive had been stacking all night. My effective range was pushing 250 meters now. Close enough. I pulled out Storm K2. Didn't even look at the targets. Pointed the barrel at empty air, literally aimed at nothing, and fired. Boom. The pellets left the barrel, flew about half a meter, and then space itself folded. The air warped, twisted, and the pellets vanished into thin air like they'd been swallowed by an invisible portal. Trajectory warp. My absolute favorite party trick. The pellets reappeared directly behind Vulture's skull. 200 meters away. Through solid cover. From an impossible angle. His head popped like a balloon at a needle convention. No warning. No sound. No chance. At the exact same instant, the other 2 snipers on different elevated positions got the same treatment. Same shot. 3 different exit points. 3 simultaneous headshots through 3 separate pieces of hard cover from 1 trigger pull aimed at empty space. 1 second. 1 shot. 3 snipers on 3 different rooftops. All dead. They never figured out how. Died confused. Which honestly might be the most merciful way to go when you're up against someone who can bend the laws of physics with a shotgun. The remaining hunters on the ground watched 3 of their best snipers simultaneously explode from behind cover, killed by a gun pointed at the sky, and the real panic began. But I was just getting warmed up. The toll station went silent. 20-something bounty hunters who were just celebrating my death. We're now experiencing what I call the 5 stages of realizing you've made a terrible mistake. Their leader watched 3 sniper bodies tumble from their perches, and his brain just quit. Blue screen of death. Complete system failure. Can someone please explain to me why his bullets can turn corners? His voice was shaking like a chihuahua in a thunderstorm. Valid question, though. I'd be confused too if I wasn't the one doing it. Some old veteran hunter figured it out first. Spatial ability. He's a high-rank spatial awakener. The intel is fake. He's not F-rank. Run. Ruin. Close enough, Grandpa. Wrong answer, right conclusion. Panic spread through their ranks like wildfire at a gasoline convention. 20-man ambush circle collapsed in about 2 seconds. People were literally throwing their guns away and diving into rubble like panicked rabbits. And me? I just stood there, casually firing my Storm K2 in directions that made absolutely no sense. Boom. Aimed at the ground. Guy 200 meters to my left exploded. Boom. Aimed at the sky. Dude hiding behind a concrete wall got shredded. Boom. Aimed at a rusty car. Someone in a completely different zip code caught the pellets through his chest. Trajectory warp turned every shot into a magic trick. The pellets would leave my barrel, fold through space, and reappear wherever I wanted them to, behind cover, under barriers, inside helmets. Physics had left the chat, and I was making up new rules. One genius hid behind a half-meter-thick concrete wall, thinking he was safe. My pellets warped underneath him, came up through the floor, and turned his torso into a colander. From below, the man got killed by bullets that attacked him from the one direction nobody ever thinks to protect. Another guy went full, if I played dead in this hole, maybe he won't notice me. My pellets teleported directly above his skull and dropped straight down through the top of his head like the world's worst rain. Playing possum doesn't work when the hunter doesn't need line of sight. No cover was safe. No angle was a dead zone. I was shooting around corners, through walls, from below, from above. It was like I had 20 invisible snipers positioned everywhere simultaneously, except it was just me and one shotgun pointed at random directions. Half a minute. 20-plus experienced bounty hunters. Most of them down. Time to switch things up. I holstered Storm K2 and pulled out 2 things. Nova P1 pistol in my right hand, Spectre's Sting, my shiny new A-rank dagger, in my left. Here's my logic. My kinetic barrier is eating every bullet they throw at me like popcorn. So why stay at range? Why not go full melee and play this gunner class like a psychotic assassin? I launched forward. After image speed. Straight into the thickest cluster of survivors. First guy. Turned around. Tried to raise his submachine gun. My knee met his chin before the barrel got halfway up. Crack. Jawbone said goodbye. He went down like a puppet with cut strings. I used his falling body as a springboard, launched into the air, and shot 3 rounds through a thin oil drum. The bullets punched through the metal and hit 3 guys hiding behind it. All headshots. I wasn't even aiming properly, just doing math in my head at combat speed. The last 4 survivors lost their minds and did the one thing every Awakener believes is a guaranteed win against a gunner. They rushed me with melee weapons. For alloy combat knives from 4 different angles. Gunners die in close combat. The universal law of Awakeners. Written in every textbook. Accepted as absolute truth. Allow me to submit my counter-argument. I stepped into their formation. Spectre's Sting flashed once. The front guy's entire hand came off at the wrist, knife and all. Before he could scream, a second flash opened his throat. The A-rank blade's nerve paralysis kicked in instantly. He was dead before his brain registered pain. Just froze and toppled like a statue. The remaining 3 had about 1 second to process that a gunner just out-knifed their guy faster than any assassin they'd ever seen. They did not use that second wisely. I twisted past one guy's blade, buried Spectre's Sting in his chest, ripped it out, elbowed the second guy's ribs hard enough to hear them snap like breadsticks, then spun into a roundhouse kick that launched the third one 7 meters into a broken wall. He slid down and didn't move. Quick pistol shot to finish off Mr. Broken Ribs. 10 seconds. For melee fighters. All dead. Their leader, the guy who'd been barking orders all day about wanting both the bounty and my ancient treasure, was now running away with a very visible wet patch on his pants. All that swagger, completely dissolved. Just a scared man with urine-soaked trousers and broken dreams. Bang! I shot out his kneecap. He face-planted into the dirt and started screaming the most pathetic threats I've ever heard. Don't kill me. I'm with the Bloodwolf Mercenary Corps. Our captain is S rank. If you kill me, he'll bang. Bullet through the forehead. Mid-sentence. I didn't even let him finish his threat because, honestly, I've heard better intimidation from the goblins in the sewer. Silence. Finally, I flicked the blood off Spectre's sting, sheathed it, and started my post-battle ritual, looting everything that wasn't nailed down. 20-something bodies. Mostly standard-issue garbage equipment, but the credits added up to several 100,000. Not bad for what amounted to a 30-minute workout. I stood up, looked toward the horizon, and saw it. A massive dark red sky with a funnel-shaped cloud connecting heaven and earth, like the atmosphere itself was being sucked into a drain. The Bone Storm. My actual destination. Everything up to now? The gangs, the assassins, the bounty hunters, the ambushes? That was all just the commute. The real adventure starts now. I drove for 3 hours in a stolen SUV, thanks, dead bounty hunters, across abandoned cities and desert wastelands until I reached my destination. And let me tell you, no amount of mental preparation could have readied me for what I saw. Imagine a tornado. Now make it several kilometers wide. Now fill it with the ground-up bones of every person who's ever died inside it. Now make it glow dark red like the sky is bleeding. Now add the sound of a million screaming ghosts. That's the Bone Storm. Nature's blender. God's garbage disposal. The place where people go in and dust comes out. I picked up a rock and tossed it at the edge. It touched the wind and instantly turned into powder. Didn't even last half a second. Just poof. Gone. Like it never existed. Cool. Cool. Totally not terrifying. According to official records, this thing appears every few years. Nobody knows why. The theory is there's an ancient ruin at the center leaking so much spiritual energy that reality itself throws a tantrum. And for 100 years, awakeners have been charging and trying to reach that ruin, including Grandmaster and even venerable level powerhouses. The survival rate? 0. Not low, not rare, literally 0. Nobody has ever come out alive. Not one person. The storm grinds everything into white powder and adds it to itself. Those bone fragments swirling around. Those are the previous explorers. They're part of the scenery now. And I was about to walk into this thing voluntarily. Let me explain my logic before you call the psychiatric ward. I stepped into the outer edge to test things. My kinetic barrier activated instantly, blocking the bone shrapnel. Shield layers, 98, 97, 96, 2 to 3 layers per second. Just at the edge. The deeper you go, the worse it gets. At this rate, my 90-something layers would last maybe 30 seconds before I became human confetti. Okay. Problem identified. Normal approach. Impossible. Time to think abnormally. I spread my enhanced senses into the storm like casting a fishing net into chaos. And I caught something unexpected. There were living things in there. Multiple creatures, swimming through the bone tornado like fish in water, completely unbothered by the storm that annihilates everything else. Mutated monsters that had adapted to this environment. My brain immediately went, wait. Every kill adds 1 barrier layer. If there are monsters in the storm, and I kill them fast enough to match the drain rate, the math was simple. Storm eats my shield. Killing monsters rebuilds my shield. As long as kills per second equals or exceeds drain per second, I survive. As long as I never stop killing, I never die. It's like running on a treadmill made of knives, except every time I stab something, the treadmill slows down for a second. Miss a stab? I fall into the knife treadmill. Great system. Very relaxing. Oh, and visibility inside the storm? 3 meters. Can't see anything. Just white bone fog everywhere. But I have enhanced senses that work like sonar. I don't need eyes. My brain is my eyes. I stood there for a few seconds, staring at the wall of screaming bone wind, doing the risk assessment. 90 layers of shield. 30 seconds max. If I don't find and kill monsters fast enough in those 30 seconds, I die the same way everyone else did. Ground into powder, becoming permanent decor. I looked back at the quiet wasteland behind me. Safe. Peaceful. Boring. I looked at the storm. Lethal. Insane. Full of XP. Screw it. Let's gamble. I walked in. The second I crossed the threshold, it felt like being inside a washing machine filled with razor blades. bone fragments hammering my barrier from every direction at supersonic speed. The noise was indescribable, a million tiny knives scraping a million tiny shields simultaneously. Shield, 79, 76, 73, draining twice as fast as the outer edge. The deeper I went, the hungrier the storm got. 53, 50, 47. I stopped looking at the numbers. Watching a countdown to your own death isn't great for morale. Census, maximum output. Scanning everything. And there, left side, not far, a life signature. Target acquired. I raised Storm K2 and fired into the white void. The pellets immediately got yanked sideways by the insane winds. Any normal shot would have missed by a mile. But Trajectory Warp doesn't care about wind. The pellets bent, twisted, course-corrected through the chaos, and found their target like heat-seeking missiles with a grudge. Boom. Storm Bonerotor Beast, LV.20 Elite, killed. 800 XP, Kinetic Barrier, 1 layer gained. Against 5 layers lost per second. Not enough. Not nearly enough. I needed to kill faster. A lot faster. Like, assembly line of death, faster. If I couldn't find more monsters and delete them at machine gun pace, this storm was going to eat me alive in about 20 seconds. So basically, I'm standing inside an apocalyptic bone tornado that has killed every single person who's ever entered it. My shield is melting like ice cream in a volcano, and my only survival strategy is to murder things faster than physics can murder me. Just another Tuesday in the life of Lin Yu, F-rank gunner, professional maniac. My shield layer jumped from 39 to 40. 1 layer. 1 measly layer from killing that bone beast. But that 1 layer was the most beautiful number I'd ever seen, because it meant my insane theory worked. Kill monsters, gain shields, don't die. Simple math. Terrifying execution. Shield, 40. 37, 34. The storm was eating my barrier like a fat kid eating cake. Every second, chunks of protection just melting away. Meanwhile, I'm sprinting through a tornado of razor-sharp bone dust, firing blindly into white nothing, hoping to hit things I can't see. You know those treadmill fail videos? Imagine that, except the treadmill is made of death, and if you slow down for 1 second you become skeleton confetti. I found 2 more beasts on my right. Double tap. Boom. Boom. 2 kills. 2 layers gained. Shield, 35 to 37. Still losing ground. The deeper I went, the hungrier the storm got, but also, more monsters appeared. The storm was basically saying, I'll kill you faster, but here's more things to kill so you can try to keep up. Thanks, I think. Shield dropped below 30. 29 layers between me and becoming the newest ingredient in Bone Smoothie. That's when the real panic kicked in. Not the fun, oh this is exciting, panic. The, I can taste my own mortality, panic. Death's cologne was in the air, and it smelled like ground-up skeleton. I spotted 7 targets ahead, but they were 300 meters out, way beyond shotgun range. Time to switch to the Windchaser A3. Now, using a sniper rifle inside a tornado with 0 visibility sounds stupid, because it is stupid. But Trajectory Warp doesn't care about visibility, wind, or the basic laws of physics. I aimed in what I'm pretty sure was a random direction and fired. The bullet left the barrel, immediately got slapped sideways by hurricane-force winds, and then, like a dog being called home, corrected itself midair. It dodged spinning bone fragments, navigated around air columns, and drilled straight through a bone beast skull at 300 meters. Then the bullet kept going. Changed direction again. Hit a second beast behind the first one. 1 bullet. 2 kills. In a tornado. While blind. I am the greatest sniper who has ever lived, and I wasn't even aiming. Shield, 29 to 31. Breathing room. Barely. I fell into a rhythm. A horrible, beautiful, life or death rhythm. Pull bolt. Fire. Bullet warps through impossible angles. Kill. Pull bolt. Fire. Kill again. Sometimes double kills. Sometimes the bullet bounced through 3 targets like the world's deadliest pinball. Shotgun for close range. Sniper for distance. Switching between them like a DJ switching tracks, except every missed beat meant instant death. The kill counter climbed. The shield numbers started creeping back up. 35, 37, 38. For the first time since entering this nightmare, the gain started outpacing the drain. I was killing faster than the storm could strip me. Did I relax? Absolutely not. 1 second of hesitation and the shield would nosedive like a stock market crash. I was riding a unicycle on a tightrope over a volcano while juggling chainsaws. Any pause meant soup. Time stopped meaning anything. There was no minutes or hours inside the bone storm. Just shoot, kill, shoot, kill, check shield, shoot, kill. An endless loop of survival violence. Eventually, I glanced at my barrier count. 62. 62. Started at 29. Now at 62. I wasn't just surviving. I was getting stronger inside the death zone. The place that has killed every single person who's ever entered it, including grandmasters and venerable level gods, was now my personal XP farm. 100 years of nobody survives, and I turned it into a grinding session. Then the cherry on top, a golden notification appeared. Level up. Now level 11. New mythic passive available. Level up. Inside the bone storm, while being shredded by supernatural wind, my body flooded with warm energy, all fatigue instantly gone. Fresh as a daisy in the middle of the apocalypse. Did I stop to spin the gacha wheel? No. The storm doesn't pause for loot boxes. I'll open that present later, assuming later exists. Now here's the part happening outside that I obviously didn't know about. 3 kilometers away, sitting on a rock with a telescope, was a night owl spy codenamed Nightingale. Slim, professional, been tailing me for hours. She'd watch me wipe out the Sandfox squad. Watch me annihilate 20+ bounty hunters at the toll station. Each time, her jaw dropped a little further. Then she watched me walk into the bone storm. She lowered her telescope, closed her eyes. In her mind, that was it. Game over. Nobody survives the bone storm. Not even S-rank. The storm grinds S-rank awakeners into powder in seconds. A level 10 kid walking in there? That's not brave. That's a really dramatic suicide. She picked up her radio. Nightingale to HQ. Target Lin Yu has entered the bone storm. Silence on the other end. Then, repeat. Target Lin Yu has entered the bone storm. Repeat. Target has entered the bone storm. Pause. Target Lin Yu. Confirmed dead. The radio went quiet. Then, understood. Return to base. She stood up, dusted herself off, and looked at the storm one last time. Even said my name out loud, Lin Yu, with a complicated expression. She'd seen countless people die and never blinked. But something about watching me march into that storm actually made her hesitate. She stood there 2 extra seconds before leaving. 2 whole seconds of feeling something. For an assassin spy, that's practically a eulogy. Then she vanished into the evening. What she didn't know, what nobody knew, was that deep inside that wall of screaming bone wind, my guns hadn't stopped firing for a single second. The world thought I was dead. The night owls marked my file, deceased, and I was in there leveling up, stacking shields, farming monsters, having the most productive day of my entire life. Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. My life had become a very simple loop. Shoot, kill, don't die, repeat. Like the world's most stressful job with 0 benefits and infinite overtime. Shield bouncing between 60 and 70 layers. Couldn't push higher because every time I went on a killing spree and gained layers, the storm said, "Oh, you're feeling confident," and blasted me with extra bone shrapnel to knock them right back down. It was like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain open. Except the bathtub is my survival and the drain is supernatural death wind. These bone beasts were fast too. Giant, twisted lizard things covered in white bone armor, zipping through the storm like they were born in it. Which, technically, they were. Without my enhanced senses, I wouldn't even know they existed until one was chewing on my face. One tried to ambush me from the right. Keyword, tried. Boom. Head deleted. Next, I developed a navigation strategy that can be summarized as, go wherever the monsters are. Not because I'm brave. Because if I walked through a monster-free zone for more than 5 seconds, my shield would drain so fast I'd be dead before I could say, bad idea. My survival literally depended on there being things to kill nearby at all times. It's like being a shark. Stop moving, stop killing, start dying. Very zen if you don't think about it too hard. Found a pack of 7 beasts. Opened fire. Trajectory warp turned my shotgun into a magical murder machine. Bullets weaving through bone debris like tiny homing missiles with attitude problems. 7 kills. Clean sweep. Ding. Level 12. Another mythic passive waiting in the gacha machine. That's 2 level ups I was now sitting on without opening. I had the willpower of a monk at a buffet. But stopping to spin a wheel inside a death tornado felt like poor time management. Then something weird happened. The wind got quieter. At first I thought I was losing my mind. Or maybe my ears had given up and stopped reporting to my brain. But no, my shield drain rate was actually dropping. From 5 layers per second to about 2. Then less. The bone dust was thinning out. I could actually see things. Like, with my eyes. I'd almost forgotten what eyeball-based vision felt like. Was the storm dying? Did I break it? Did it get tired of trying to kill me? I kept pushing forward, and the wind kept dropping. A few more minutes, and it stopped completely. Total silence. I stood there like an idiot, blinking at absolutely nothing. No wind. No bone shrapnel. No screaming ghost sounds. Just quiet. The most aggressive quiet I'd ever experienced. My shield counter froze at 61 layers and stopped moving. I looked up. The sky wasn't normal sky. It was a massive gray dome, like someone had flipped a giant bowl over this area. Outside the dome, I could see the bone fragments still raging, swirling at impossible speeds. The storm hadn't stopped. I'd just reached the center. The eye of the bone storm. 100 years. Countless awakeners. Grandmasters. Venerables. Legends of the awakener world. Every single one of them died trying to get where I was standing right now. I wonder if I'm the first person in a century to make it here alive. Probably. Almost definitely. Unless someone else had a mythic shield that stacks on kills and bullets that teleport through space, which I'm going to go ahead and assume they did not. The eye was completely monster-free. Those bone beasts apparently had a strict, storm-only policy and refused to enter this zone. Like vampires in doorways, but dumber. What was here? Ruins. Everywhere. Ancient buildings, crumbled walls, broken stone pillars, collapsed structures stretching hundreds of meters in every direction. The remains of what was obviously once a massive, thriving city. I touched one of the walls. The stone patterns were unlike anything modern. Not Longsha architecture, not anything I recognized from daily life. But I'd seen pictures like this in school textbooks. These were ancient civilization patterns. Thousands of years old. My heart started beating faster, and it had nothing to do with combat. According to everything I'd learned in school, an ancient civilization once existed that was way more advanced than modern society. They had spiritual energy technology that we still can't replicate today. Then some catastrophe wiped them out, and their ruins scattered across the world. Every single ancient ruin ever discovered had created either a top-tier power faction or a peak-level warrior. These places were basically cheat code dispensaries. That's why people kept diving into the bone storm despite 0 survival rates. The potential reward was just too insane. And I was standing in one, alone, with no competition, because everyone else who tried is currently part of the tornado outside. Then I felt it, a pulse of spiritual energy from deep within the ruins. Not a monster signal, not natural energy fluctuation, something deliberate, structured, almost like a beacon, calling me forward. I looked toward the source. There, rising above the rubble in the distance, was a massive building, still mostly intact, still standing after thousands of years. And whatever was inside it was actively sending out a "come find me" signal. 2 unspent level-up rewards in my pocket. A legendary ruin nobody's reached in a century. A mysterious ancient building basically texting me, "Come over, I've had worse Tuesdays, but I've definitely never had a more interesting one." I stood there staring at the ancient temple like a tourist who just found the VIP entrance to heaven. Should I go in? Let me think. I just survived a death tornado that's killed every single person for 100 years. My shield is stable. There are 0 monsters here. And behind that door might be the greatest treasure in recorded history. Yeah, I'm going in. What am I going to do? Turn around and go back through the bone blender? No thanks. Ancient civilization secrets, I'll pass. Who does that? The walk through the ruins was weirdly peaceful. No monsters. No bugs. No birds. Nothing alive. The entire area felt like it had been sterilized by some cosmic janitor. After spending hours in a non-stop kill-or-die frenzy, the silence was almost unsettling. My trigger finger was twitching from withdrawal. Then I saw it up close, and my jaw nearly hit the floor. A full-blown ancient temple. Massive stone pillars holding up a domed ceiling that looked like it belonged to gods, not people. The kind of building that makes you feel very small and very mortal. Textbook ancient civilization architecture. The same stuff teachers showed us blurry pictures of and said, "We don't fully understand how they built this." Well, I'm standing in front of one. Turns out the answer to how they build it is really, really well, because this thing survived thousands of years in a perpetual bone hurricane. The front door was a single slab of dark gray stone, about 15 meters tall. No handle, no doorknob, no push sign, just solid rock. I pushed it. Nothing. Pushed harder. 2 hands. Full effort. Nothing. This door weighed more than my entire life's problems combined. I'm pretty sure I could have emptied my entire shotgun into it, and it would have just laughed at me. In stone language. Stepping back, I noticed a fist-sized circular slot in the center of the door, surrounded by tiny carved symbols. I stuck my hand in. The symbols flickered to life for 1 second, then died. Did it again. Same thing. Brief glow, tiny suction feeling, then nothing. So the door needs something inserted. Something with concentrated spiritual energy. Like a key, but ancient and dramatic. And I knew exactly what fit that description. The Venom Heart. The one from the Spider General. The one old Do offered 500,000 credits for. The one I refused to sell. The one that could potentially mutate my entire class if I ever absorbed it. That one. Using it to open this door would mean sacrificing my shot at class mutation, my golden ticket to upgrading from F rank. And who knows when I'd ever find another Venom Heart. Could be years. Could be never. I stared at the slot for several long seconds. Then I looked at the temple. A building from an ancient civilization so advanced that every single ruin they left behind created world-shaking powerhouses. A place nobody has reached in a century, with something inside actively calling out to me. Venom Heart. Valuable. Potentially class-changing. Whatever's behind this door, potentially civilization-changing. Yeah, the math checks out. Sorry, Venom Heart. You had a good run in my pocket. But first, before opening anything, I had 2 mythic passive pulls waiting. 2 whole gotcha spins I'd been sitting on since the Bone Storm. And if there's one rule I live by, it's always power up before entering the scary ancient temple, not after. System, spin, golden wheel number 1. Symbols flying, pointer slowing, strength amplification, mythic every kill permanently increases strength by 1 point. No upper limit. Oh baby, strength affects everything for me. Weapon stability, melee damage, carry weight, recoil control, blocking power. Before this, my close combat was all technique from Ultimate Combat Mastery. Skill without raw power. Like knowing every martial arts move, but having noodle arms. Now, every kill makes me physically stronger. Forever. No cap. I'll eventually be punching through walls like they're wet paper. That's constitution, strength, and perception all covered by kill stacking passives now. 3 out of 5 stats. I'm basically a RPG character with infinite stat points and a very specific way of earning them. System, spin again, second wheel. Anticipation through the roof. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna? Agility focus. Mythic every kill permanently increases agility by 1 point. No upper limit. I literally just thought agility would be nice, and the system said, ask and you shall receive. Agility controls movement speed, reaction time, dodgeability, aiming precision. Basically everything that keeps me alive when things get spicy. For a gunner, it's as core as it gets. Let me count my mythic passives real quick. 12. 12 mythic grade passives. Each one would be the defining power of any Awakener's entire career. I have a dozen of them, and they all stack with kills. Normal Awakeners level up, train for years, spend fortunes on gear and resources, and eventually hit a ceiling called Grandmaster. That's the peak for most people. My ceiling? I don't have a ceiling. My power scales with one variable, body count. The more I kill, the stronger everything gets. Range, damage, health, strength, agility, perception, shields, all of it. Infinitely. Forever. I am a snowball rolling downhill, and the hill has no bottom. Okay, power up complete. Time to open this door. I pulled the Venom Heart from my storage ring. Still glowing green. Still pulsing like it was alive. I looked at it one last time. Sorry, little buddy. You were gonna make me a mutant. But what's behind door number 1 is probably worth more than a class upgrade. Zero hesitation. I pressed it into the slot. Perfect fit. Like it was made for this. Every single symbol on the door blazed to life instantly. The entire stone surface lit up like a Christmas tree designed by an ancient civilization with unlimited magical power and a flair for the dramatic. 12 mythic passives loaded. 2 new stat stacking skills online. Ancient temple door activating. Whatever's behind this door better be ready, because the most overpowered F rank in history just knocked. While I was standing in front of an ancient temple watching magic symbols light up like a divine slot machine, let me tell you what was happening back in civilization, because it's comedy gold. At the Liu family mansion, dear old adoptive daddy Liu Jinxiong was sitting in his dark study, tapping his desk like a Bond villain who just got good news. His encrypted message read, "Target entered Bone Storm. Confirmed dead." He read it 3 times. Not because he was sad, because he wanted to savor it. Like fine wine. Then he smiled and said, "I kid you not. How did he just die like that?" With a tone of mild disappointment. Not because he missed me. Because he wanted to torture my secrets out of me first, and now the Bone Storm stole his toy. World's worst father figure, ladies and gentlemen. Upset that nature killed me before he could. Then Wang Lan walked in with fancy tea. Because this woman's entire personality is, bring tea and be terrible. Read the message, and her reaction was basically a party. Serves him right. That little animal. Nobody forced him. He walked in himself. He deserved it, ma'am. Your husband literally hired assassins to murder me. But sure, I deserved it for walking into a storm. The mental gymnastics this woman does should qualify her for the Olympics. But here's where it gets juicy. Liu Jinxiong wasn't celebrating my death. He was already scheming about something bigger. He pulled out a fancy wooden box from a secret drawer, because of course he has a secret drawer, and inside was a golden scroll. A special magic scroll that creates a shield against the Bone Storm. Developed by the Awakener Association and 7 national research labs over 15 years. Cost, 30 million credits per scroll. Only about 100 exist in the entire country. And this sneaky old fox got his hands on one. He's planning to enter the Bone Storm himself. To find the ancient ruins. To grab the legendary inheritance. The same ruins I'm already standing inside. While he's plotting his grand expedition, I've already arrived. He's packing lunch for a road trip, and I'm already at the destination eating dessert. The irony is so thick you could spread it on bread. Wang Lan freaked out. You're 50. You want to go into the Death Storm? But Liu Jinxiong had it all figured out. He'd teamed up with 3 other major families, the Mengs, the Zhaos, and the Hans. For families, pooling resources, sharing risk. A full expedition team. Then Wang Lan asked about the Night Owls, and things got even shadier. Turns out Liu Jinxiong paid them with 5 ancient ruin map fragments. That was the deal. They handle me. He gives them fragments. Business concluded. But after we find the ruins, Liu Jinxiong tapped his box ominously. It's every man for himself. Translation, he's planning to betray everyone eventually. Shocking absolutely nobody. Then Lu Manyu walked in, fresh from training, still sweaty, hair tied back, looking all serious and athletic. She'd heard the news and came straight over. Is it confirmed? Was Lin Yu really stupid enough to walk into the Bone Storm? They showed her the surveillance video. She watched it 3 times. 3 times. For someone who supposedly hates me more than anything, she sure spent a lot of time studying that footage. Just saying. She accepted I was dead. Then immediately pivoted. I'm coming with you to the ruins. Liu Jinxiong slammed his hand on the desk. Absolutely not. You're a student. You'd just be in the way. Father-daughter bonding at its finest. He did promise that any inheritance he found would be hers, though. How sweet. Stealing ancient treasures for your little princess. Family values. Lu Manyu left without arguing, but stopped in the hallway. Something was bugging her. Lin Yu is really dead? Just like that? Her gut was telling her something was off. But she shook it off and walked away. Trust your instincts, princess. They're smarter than you. Meanwhile, in the underground lair of the Night Owls, Grave Burial was fondling his 5 map fragments like a dragon counting gold coins. The bounty on me was officially canceled. Case closed. Customer satisfied. But Grave Burial wasn't done scheming either. He's assembling his own team, himself plus 4 elite operatives including Nightingale, to go raid the ruins too. Separately from the Liu family alliance. So we've got, for major families planning an expedition, Night Owl assassins planning their own expedition, everyone plotting to eventually betray everyone else. And all of them think I'm dead. Every single faction. Completely, absolutely, 100% certain that Linyu is bone dust floating in a tornado somewhere. Meanwhile, in the actual ancient ruins, the temple I'd just unlocked with my venom heart, the doors were already open. I was inside. While they're spending weeks organizing expeditions, gathering resources, forming alliances, and plotting betrayals to maybe reach a place that might have ruins. I'm already there. Alone. No competition. No backstabbers. No scheming families. Just me and whatever ancient civilization secrets are waiting behind that door. They're playing chess. I already flipped the board and took the trophy home. The dead man is about to become the richest, most powerful corpse in history. The venom heart clicked into place like the world's most expensive key, and the entire door lit up like a Christmas tree having a religious experience. Ancient symbols blazed to life, racing across the stone surface like lit fuses. The 15-meter slab split down the middle and groaned open, releasing a wave of spiritual energy so thick it was practically liquid. My senses got hit like someone shoved a fire hose into my brain. My skin started glowing. Energy was pouring into my body just from standing in the doorway. If the outside world is a kiddie pool of spiritual energy, this temple was the Mariana Trench. Inside was absolutely jaw-dropping. A massive circular chamber with ceilings dozens of meters high. Every wall covered in ancient symbols that pulsed with light like the building itself was breathing. The floor was polished black obsidian so smooth I could see my own reflection staring back at me like, "Dude, are you sure about this?" Dead center. A 3-meter-tall black stone monument with a glowing silver orb on top. The orb was basically the room's only light bulb, and it was doing a fantastic job. I touched the monument. The ancient text instantly rearranged itself into words I could read, which was convenient because my ancient civilization language skills are non-existent. He who enters must pass 3 trials. Those who succeed inherit the mantle of the ancient spirit gunner. Those who fail, soul destruction. No afterlife. No respawning. Spirit gunner. Spirit gunner. The legendary ultimate evolution of the gunner class. The one that every textbook says is lost forever. The class that could fuse spiritual energy with bullets and basically become a god with a gun. 0 people have achieved it since the awakening era began. And the instruction manual was right here. Before I could properly freak out, the silver orb exploded with white light. The floor vanished. My stomach lurched. I wasn't falling. I was being yanked into another dimension like the universe grabbed me by the collar and said, "Trial time." I landed in an infinite white void. Nothing in every direction. Just endless pale emptiness. Very minimalist. 0 stars on Airbnb. Red text materialized in the air. Trial 1. Heart of the bullet. Hit 100 random targets using pure shooting instinct. No skill assistance. Time limit, 120 seconds. All skills sealed. And just like that, every single mythic passive I owned got locked behind glowing black chains. All 12 of them. Gone. No trajectory warp. No enhanced senses. No infinite magazine. No nothing. I was just me. Regular me. A guy with a gun and 2 eyes. 100 targets. 2 minutes. Average 1.2 seconds per target, minus reload time. With a pistol that holds 12 rounds. My palms started sweating. This wasn't a video game. Fail this, and my soul gets permanently deleted. No save file. No continue screen. Target 1 appeared. A fist-sized black disc 40 meters away, zigzagging randomly. No time to think. I raised my Nova P1 and fired. Bang. Dead center. Bang, bang, bang. 2, 3, 4 smashed. The first 12 went down smooth. Click. Empty mag left thumb hit the release. Right hand slapped in a fresh magazine faster than I've ever done anything in my life. Under 1 second. Back shooting. 13, 14, 15. Clean hits. By target 30, the game changed. Distance jumped to over 100 meters. Targets shrank. I holstered the pistol and switched to my Windchaser, a 3 sniper rifle without breaking rhythm. Through the scope, the world narrowed to just me and the target. Nothing else existed. No fear, no doubt, no thoughts. Just the crosshair and the disc. Bang. 37. Bang. 38. Bolt. Eject. Chamber. Fire. A machine's rhythm performed by human hands. 50 targets. 70. 90. Every single one hit. 100% accuracy held together by nothing but eyeballs, muscle memory, and pure stubborn refusal to miss. Then the last 10 went insane. Targets tripled in speed. Started teleporting. Some split into fake copies when I aimed at them. My arms were shaking from recoil. Sweat dripped into my eye and burned like acid. I wiped it on my shoulder without breaking aim. 93, 96, 97. Target split into 2 copies. My gut picked right before my brain could think. Bang. Correct one shattered. The 100th target dropped from directly above me like a meteor, spiraling in a corkscrew pattern, changing direction every millisecond. 2 seconds left on the clock. I threw the scope away from my eye, aimed purely on instinct. No calculation, no technique, just my body and the gun becoming one thing, and fired at the exact point where the target would be in the next fraction of a second. Bang. Shattered. 100/100. 0 misses. Perfect score. The white void cracked like glass, and I snapped back into the temple, breathing like I'd just run a marathon while defusing a bomb. New text on the monument. Heart of the bullet. Perfect clear. Reward. Inheritance grade unique skill. Instinctive shot. Passive. Instinctive shot. Even if all active and passive skills are sealed, suppressed, interfered with, or stripped away, shooting accuracy is permanently locked at 100%. This skill cannot be removed by any force. I read that 3 times. Then read it again. This skill is unremovable. It can't be sealed, can't be suppressed, can't be taken away. Even if some future enemy has a power that nullifies everything I have, every mythic passive, every buff, every advantage, this one stays. Permanently. Forever. No matter what happens to me, I will never miss a shot. It's not just a skill. It's a guarantee. A permanent insurance policy written into my soul that says, this man will always hit what he aims at. Signed. Ancient civilization. No refunds. I gripped my gun so hard. My knuckles turned white. Then new text appeared. Trial 2. Soul of Slaughter. The floor vanished again. This place really loves dramatic entrances, and I dropped into an enormous underground coliseum. And in the center, kneeling like a dark statue, was the biggest, most terrifying skeleton I'd ever seen. Black armor. Massive battle axe. Absolutely radiating. I will end you. Energy so thick it was hard to breathe. It sensed me. 2 blue flames ignited in its empty eye sockets. It slowly raised its head. Oh good, I thought, chambering around. A boss fight. In a death temple. Inside a death storm. While being officially dead, totally normal Tuesday. Trial 2 popped up on screen. Kill the ancient bone guardian. All skills unlocked. This is a death match. A barrier sealed the arena. No exits. Win or become a permanent decoration. The skeleton stood up. And up. And up. This thing was massive. Black armor, giant battle axe, blue soul flames burning in its empty eye sockets, radiating enough pressure to make the air itself vibrate. The system helpfully provided its stats. Ancient Bone Guardian. S-rank Lord. Level 50. S-rank. Level 50. That's equivalent to a human Grandmaster. The absolute pinnacle of power in the modern world. The kind of being that entire nations build strategies around. And I'm level 12. With a shotgun. Any normal person would have had a panic attack, written a will, and started praying to every god simultaneously. Me? I put my shotgun on my shoulder and smiled. Because I remembered one very specific mythic passive, weakness gaze. Hit a weak point. Instant kill. Miss the weak point. Every 3rd shot triggers instant kill anyway. 3 bullets. That's all I need. 3 bullets and anything dies. I don't care if it's level 50, level 500, or level. I am literally God. 3 shots. Guaranteed. The first trial nearly killed me by taking away everything and making me fight naked. This trial gave me all my powers back and put a giant slow target in front of me. This wasn't a boss fight. This was a gift. The skeleton roared, genuinely offended that I wasn't terrified, and charged. The ground cracked under its feet. The whole arena shook. It was like watching a freight train made of bones and bad intentions barreling toward me at maximum speed. I didn't dodge, didn't move, just raised Storm K2 and fired 3 times. Boom, boom, boom. First 2 shots bounced off its armor like spitballs. Tiny sparks. 0 damage. The skeleton didn't even slow down. 3rd shot. Weakness gaze activated. The pellets suddenly changed behavior. guided by some invisible force, they drilled straight through the armor and into the blue core in its chest. Like they had a GPS locked onto its soul. The skeleton froze mid-charge, 10 meters from my face. A mountain of death stopped cold. The blue flames in its eyes went out like someone blew out birthday candles. Then its entire body, that massive, terrifying S-rank, level 50, Grandmaster equivalent monster, crumbled into dust from the inside out. Like a sandcastle in a hurricane. 3 seconds. Start to finish. One-shot kill on an S-rank lord. The trial system practically tripped over itself congratulating me. Trial 2 cleared. Reward. Inheritance grade passive. Soul of Slaughter. Soul of Slaughter. All attacks now carry a slaughter effect that directly annihilates the target's soul. Ignores all resurrection, rebirth, and revival abilities. Let me translate that into simple terms. If I kill you, you stay dead. No respawning. No Phoenix revival tricks. No emergency soul escape like Blood Raven tried. No last-second body swap techniques. Dead means dead. Soul deleted. Game over. Permanent. Combined with weakness gaze, I now have guaranteed kill every 3 shots, permanent soul death on everything I kill. I am the Grim Reaper's overachieving in turn. Trial 3 appeared on the monument. The soul of inheritance. No arena this time. No enemies. Instead, the silver orb floated up from the monument, cracked open, and projected a ghostly human figure in ancient robes. Blurry face, but radiating enough spiritual pressure to make my soul shake. An ancient, booming voice echoed through the temple. The final trial tests neither combat nor marksmanship. I will ask you one question. Answer correctly. The inheritance is yours. Answer wrong. Your soul stays here forever. Oh, wonderful. An exam. The most dangerous pop quiz in history. No multiple choice. No partial credit. No, I'll come back to this one later. Get it right. Become the legendary spirit gunner. Get it wrong. Soul permanently eaten by an ancient ghost. What is the ultimate essence of the gun? 4 words. That's the whole question. 4 words. My brain went into overdrive. Accuracy, power, speed, range. Every answer felt simultaneously right and completely wrong. This was a question from an ancient civilization's greatest warrior, asked at the end of an inheritance trial that nobody has passed in 3,000 years. Shooting good probably wasn't going to cut it. I could feel my soul being slowly pulled toward the monument. A timer I couldn't see was counting down. Take too long, and my soul gets vacuumed up like crumbs in a Roomba. I closed my eyes. Memories flashed. The sewer. The tournament. The bone storm. Every fight. Every shot. Every moment I refused to give up. Then it clicked. Trial 1. When everything was stripped away. Every skill. Every passive. Every advantage. And I still hit 100 targets perfectly. Why? Not because of the gun. Not because of any ability. Because I refused to miss. My will to survive was what guided every bullet. The gun was just metal. The bullets were just metal. The thing that made them hit their targets was me. My determination. My refusal to die. The gun is a tool. The bullet is an extension of the shooter's will. I opened my eyes and stared directly into the ghost's blurry face. The ultimate essence of the gun isn't in the gun. It's in the person. The gun's limit is the will of the one who holds it. As long as that will doesn't break, the bullet will never miss. Silence. Complete silence. My palms were sweating waterfalls. My heart was doing drum solos. The ghost just stared at me with that unreadable expression, and every second of silence felt like my soul was being measured on a cosmic scale. The smile on its face started fading. Wrong answer? Cold dread flooded my chest. I closed my eyes, accepting that I was about to become a ghost's midnight snack. Then, laughter. Low, rumbling, ancient laughter. The ghost's body exploded into 6 streams of silver-white light that slammed into my body like spiritual lightning bolts. Power, raw, pure, overwhelming power, flooded every cell, every nerve, every fiber of my being. And the voice spoke one final time, not commanding anymore. Almost. Relieved. In 3,000 years, you are not the first to reach this place, but you are the first to give that answer. 3,000 years. Others made it here. Others faced this question, and they all got it wrong. Every genius, every prodigy, every powerful awakener who fought their way through, they all answered with technique, or power, or precision. and they all had their souls eaten. I answered with will, and I'm the only one in 3 millennia who did. Turns out the real cheat code isn't my system, my passives, or my weapons. It's my stubbornness. Being too angry to die and too stubborn to miss. Apparently that's the answer to a 3,000-year-old riddle. I'll take it. 6 streams of silver light slammed into my body, and I experienced what I can only describe as a full-body system reboot. My bones were popping like bubble wrap. My energy channels were being forcibly widened like someone was renovating my insides without asking permission. My spiritual energy, which had been a polite little campfire, suddenly turned into a raging inferno spreading through every limb. Then my system panel started having a seizure. The F-rank gunner icon cracked. Like an egg, fissures spread across it, and the whole thing shattered into a million pieces. Golden data streams swarmed together, rebuilding, restructuring, and F-rank gunner has successfully evolved into unique inheritance class. Spirit gunner, I laughed out loud. In an empty ancient temple. By myself. Like a crazy person. And I did not care. Every near-death experience. Every bone fragment that hammered my shield. Every bullet fired blind into a tornado. Every second of, am I about to become skeleton dust? IT, all paid OFF. Then the real presents started rolling in. Level cap, breakthrough unlocked. Previous cap, level 30. New cap, level 60. My brain short-circuited for a second. In this world, even S-rank and A-rank classes are capped at level 50, the Grandmaster ceiling. Nobody has ever broken through it. And my new cap is 10 levels higher. Venerable Realm. The stuff of legends. Even if every other powerhouse in the entire country maxed out their levels, I'd still be 10 levels above them. That's not a head start. That's a different race. Then came the Trial 3 reward, Spirit Ammunition, Inheritance Grade Spirit Gunner exclusive skill. Can modify any caliber of spirit bullet for any gun-type weapon. Can also craft special spirit bullets. Special spirit bullets have absolute penetration. Ignores all high-level shields, barriers, and even invincibility states. I had to read that last part 3 times. Ignores. Invincibility. States. You know how high-level awakeners all have some ultimate defensive trump card? Some unbreakable shield? Some, you literally cannot hurt me for 10 seconds, panic button? Yeah, my special bullets fly through all of that like it doesn't exist. One shot, straight to the afterlife. Do not pass go, do not collect your invincibility frames. But, because the universe never gives anything for free, the fine print was brutal. Each special bullet requires 1 high-quality spirit core to craft. Those things cost over 100,000 credits each on the market. Every trigger pull is basically firing a small apartment's down payment at someone. Also, special bullets only work with inheritance-grade weapons, which I didn't have. Also, they can't be cheated with my infinite magazine passive. Too high level. Rules say no. So I have the ultimate ammo that I can't afford to mass produce. For a gun I don't own. Classic. But then, because this temple apparently believed in complete customer satisfaction, the silver orb overhead used its last bit of energy, crumbled apart, and condensed into a floating silver leaf that drifted down right in front of my face like a gentle little gift from the gods. Weapon Evolution Crystal can transform any ordinary weapon into an inheritance-grade weapon. Are you kidding me? They even included the accessory? This temple has better customer service than any store I've ever visited. I had 3 guns. Storm K2 and Windchaser A3 were decent enough for now. But my Nova P1 pistol? That thing was basically a starter weapon. Bottom of the barrel. The participation trophy of firearms. Perfect candidate for a glow-up. I slapped the crystal onto the Nova P1 like I was applying a phone screen protector. The crystal melted, turned into liquid silver that swallowed the entire gun. I could feel the weapon physically reconstructing in my hand. Metal shifting, barrel extending, grip reshaping. It sounded like a tiny factory was operating in my palm. Light faded, and in my hand was the most intimidating revolver I'd ever seen. Silver-white body, 10 centimeters longer than a normal pistol, covered in flowing spirit energy engravings, a hexagonal cylinder chamber, and a grip made from some unknown black crystal material. Silver Soul, inheritance grade, growable, attack power, 1,500 to 2,000. My sniper rifle maxes out at 850. This handgun starts at nearly double that. A pistol hitting harder than a sniper rifle. The laws of weapon design just filed a complaint, and I'm ignoring it. I did a few gun spins. Perfect balance. Perfect weight. Felt like it was made for my hand specifically. Probably because it literally just rebuilt itself around my hand. And it grows. It needs to absorb 100 B rank or higher souls to reach its final form. Right now it's in baby mode, and it's already this strong. What happens when it evolves? Does it start shooting small nuclear warheads? Only downside. Recoil rating of 100. Maximum possible. A normal person would fire this once, and their wrist would detach from their arm like a cheap toy. Even for me, it might be a challenge. Also, the chamber only holds 6 rounds. 6 shots, then reload. Every bullet better count. The chamber was empty, though, and I had no spirit cores to make special ammo. But the spirit ammunition skill had a secondary function. It could modify regular bullets to fit any gun caliber. So I pulled out a sniper bullet from storage and activated the skill. So let me recap what I walked into this temple with versus what I'm walking out with. Before, F-rank gunner. Level cap 30. 3 OK guns. 12 mythic passives. Everyone thinks I'm dead. After, unique inheritance spirit gunner. Level cap 60. An inheritance grade revolver that hits harder than sniper rifles. 3 new inheritance grade passive skills including never miss, permanent soul death, and ignore invincibility. Plus a bullet crafting system that turns money into murder. I went into a temple as a caterpillar, and I'm coming out as a dragon with a gun. The entire outside world, Liu family, night owls, every mercenary and bounty hunter, they all think I'm dead. Skeleton dust in a tornado. A sad footnote in wilderness history. They have no idea what's about to walk out of this storm. And honestly, I almost feel bad for them. Almost. While I was inside the temple loading bullets into my shiny new god gun, a circus was arriving outside. Now, I didn't witness any of this personally. I was busy having the best day of my life. But let me paint you the picture because it's the funniest disaster I've ever heard of. Liu Zhenxiong showed up at the Bone Storm's edge with 50-plus elite awakeners from 4 major families. Liu, Meng, Zhao, and Han. A full expedition force. Months of planning. Political alliances. Probably a group chat with terrible name like Ruin Raiders or Treasure Brothers, and lurking in the back like the world's most obvious uninvited guests. Grave burial and 4 night owl assassins in matching black cloaks. Because nothing says, we're definitely not planning to betray you, like showing up dressed as the villain squad from a fantasy movie. Meng Changhe, the Meng family patriarch, was yelling over the wind. Liu, does your fancy scroll actually work? It costs 30 million. You tell me. Liu Zhenxiong whipped out the golden scroll like he was presenting the Holy Grail at show and tell. Everyone swallowed nervously. Their entire survival plan was one piece of paper that cost more than most people's bloodlines are worth. He crushed it. Boom. Golden energy shield, 30 meters wide, dome-shaped, covering everyone. They marched into the bone storm like tourists entering a theme park ride. The bone shrapnel hammered the shield and bounced off without leaving a scratch. Worth every penny, Han Baichuan was slapping his own thigh in excitement. Half an hour of walking through the storm later, they broke through into the eye. The comm center. My center. They saw the ruins. They saw the temple. And they collectively lost their minds. We made it. We actually made it. Meng Changhe was practically vibrating. Zhao Wuji was pointing at the temple with a finger shaking so hard it could have registered on a seismograph. Liu Zhenxiong was doing his best to look composed, but you could tell his brain was screaming, money, 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 in neon letters. They all thought they were the first humans here in a century. Adorable. They were the second group. The first group was me. Population 1. Already inside the temple. Already done with all 3 trials. Already got the inheritance. Currently loading ammunition into a legendary revolver. But they didn't know that. So they stood there having their big historical moment, probably mentally rehearsing their victory speeches. Then the temple did something very unhelpful for group cohesion. A massive silver-white light exploded from the temple, shooting into the sky, bathing the entire ruins in blinding brightness. A shockwave of spiritual energy rolled across the ground and flipped everyone's coat-tails. That was probably my weapon evolution crystal activating. My bad. Didn't realize it came with a giant. Hey everyone, treasure here, spotlight. Someone screamed. A treasure is appearing. And that was the moment the alliance died. Zhao Wuji moved first, whipped around to his troops. Zhao family, charge. Whoever grabs the treasure gets 10 million. He sprinted toward the temple like a man possessed. His entire squad followed, howling like wolves at a state convention. Han Baichuan saw this and exploded with rage. You old dog, Zhao. We agreed to split evenly. He sent his own troops charging after them. Now two families were in a full sprint toward the temple, shoving each other like Black Friday shoppers fighting over the last TV. Meng Changhe looked at Lu Jinxiong desperately. Why are you just standing there? They'll take everything. Lu Jinxiong, hands behind his back, cool as ice. Let them go first. Unclear situation ahead. They can scout for us. Scout? By the time they're done scouting, the treasure will be in their pockets. Meng Changhe gave up and charged after the others with his people. What happened next was the most predictable disaster in human history. A Zhao family mage dropped an ice trap behind him while running. Two Han family warriors stepped on it and face-planted. They got up furious. A Han mage retaliated with a fireball that blasted two Zhao assassins into the air. And just like that, the Allied Expedition Force dissolved into a full-scale civil war in the middle of an ancient ruin. Zhao family scum, Han family trash, swords clashing, spells exploding, people screaming. Meng Changhe ran straight into the crossfire and caught two stray arrows in the shoulder. You blind idiots. You're shooting me too. 3 families. 50 elite fighters, tearing each other apart over a treasure that was already gone, that I already had, in my pocket, while standing 20 meters away behind a stone wall. Lu Jinxiong watched the chaos from the edge, completely unbothered. Classic move. Let the idiots weaken each other, then swoop in and take everything. Grave Burial stood behind him, equally still, equally calculating. 2 snakes watching rats fight. They were all going to be so disappointed when they finally reached the temple and found it already cleaned out. But that was a problem for future them. Present me had more important things to handle. I slid the last modified bullet into Silver Soul's hexagonal chamber. Snapped it shut. Satisfying click. The system chimed in. Inheritance-grade weapon Silver Soul equipped. Mythic passive Infinite Magazine activated. Infinite Magazine works on regular ammo, even in a legendary gun. 6 shots in the chamber that never runs dry. I now had an inheritance-grade revolver with infinite regular ammo, the option to craft shield-penetrating special rounds, and every mythic passive I'd accumulated stacked on top. Outside, 50 people were killing each other over an empty temple. Inside, the guy they all thought was dead was fully powered up and ready to walk out. The universe has a sense of humor, and today the joke is on everyone except me. Outside my temple, the world's dumbest battle royale was in full swing. Now, I was inside loading Silver Soul and minding my own business when I started picking up vibrations through my enhanced senses. Lots of them. Heartbeats, footsteps, explosions, screaming. The whole buffet of human stupidity delivered right to my doorstep. Let me reconstruct what happened based on what I sensed and, well, common sense about how greedy people behave. So Lu Jinxiong and his merry band of backstabbers made it through the bone storm using their fancy 30 million credit scroll. Good for them. Genuinely impressive. Must have felt like conquering Everest. Except Everest was already conquered. By me. Hours ago. With no scroll. Using a shotgun in spite. They saw the ruins. They saw my temple. And they all had the same collective brain aneurysm of greed. Then the temple pulsed with silver light. Probably the weapon evolution crystal finishing its work on Silver Soul. My bad. Didn't mean to send up a giant, free treasure here, flare. But the timing was comedy gold. Someone yelled, "A treasure is appearing," and the alliance shattered faster than a glass hammer. Zhao Wuji, one of the 4 family patriarchs, immediately sprinted toward the temple screaming, "Zhao family, charge. 10 million TO whoever grabs it. So much for teamwork." Han Baichuan saw this and lost his entire mind. You backstabbing dog. We had a deal. Then the Mengs joined the sprint. 3 families, 40-plus elite fighters, all stampeding toward a temple that was already empty, shoving each other like toddlers racing for the last cookie. Lu Jinxiong? He stayed behind. Didn't move a muscle. Just stood there watching with his hands behind his back, waiting for everyone else to weaken each other. Classic snake behavior. The man has never had an honest moment in his life. But he had a problem. Grave Burial and the Night Owls were also standing still. Same strategy. Both groups refusing to move first, waiting for the other to go be cannon fodder. Two predators staring at each other while the prey fights itself. It was like a nature documentary about cowardice. Eventually, Lu Jinxiong blinked first. Couldn't outpatience professional assassins. Who knew? He took his troops and started sneaking around the edges of the battlefield, avoiding the three-family brawl entirely, planning to slip in through the back door while everyone else was distracted. Grave Burial watched him leave, smiled under his hood, and gave his team the signal. All 5 Night Owls literally dissolved into shadows. Vanished. Zero trace. Not even a footprint. Meanwhile, the frontline battle had evolved from competitive sprinting to full-scale war. A Zhao family mage dropped an ice trap behind him while running. 2 Han warriors ate pavement. A Han mage retaliated with a fireball that launched 2 Zhao assassins into orbit. And suddenly, everyone forgot about the treasure and started trying to murder each other. This treasure belongs to the ZHAOS. Whoever's fist is harder gets it. 3 patriarchs screaming at each other while their soldiers turned the ancient ruins into a battlefield. That's when Grave Burial's team went to work. Silent. Surgical. Absolutely ruthless. A Zhao mage hiding behind a pillar felt something cold on his neck. His head hit the floor before his body did. His bodyguards were still processing this when a poisoned blade emerged from the shadows and skewered a Han assassin through the heart. 1 strike, vanish, repeat. 2 Ming warriors had their leg arteries sliced open by swords that came out of their own shadows. Then their throats were cut before they finished falling. Grave Burial and his 4 killers weren't fighting. They were harvesting, picking off wounded stragglers and distracted soldiers from the edges of the battlefield like wolves culling a confused herd. Every attack was a guaranteed kill. No wasted movement. No survivors. A 40-person battlefield turned into a graveyard in minutes. Zhao Wuji finally noticed his squad had been reduced from 15 to 5 without anyone from the other families doing it. The bodies all had clean neck cuts, professional assassination work, not sloppy battlefield kills. Stop fighting. Someone's picking US OFF from the shadows. All 3 patriarchs huddled together back to back, spinning in circles, staring at every shadow like terrified children at a haunted house. Their combined forces? Maybe a dozen wounded survivors out of the original 40+. The Night Owls had already moved on. Mission accomplished. 3 families neutralized. Lu Jinxiong arrived at the temple steps via his sneaky detour route, looked back at the distant battlefield, and saw maybe 5 or 6 tiny figures huddled together where 40 had been fighting minutes ago. He shuddered. The Night Owls were even more efficient than he'd feared. Then he looked up at the temple. The massive doors were wide open. Spiritual energy pouring out like perfume from a broken bottle. Move Iron. His troops raised their weapons and crept up the stone stairs. At the same time, 5 invisible shadows were approaching from a different angle. Grave Burial's team, converging on the same door. 2 groups. 1 temple. Both thinking they're about to claim the greatest treasure in a century. Neither of them knowing that the treasure was already claimed. By me. The dead F-rank gunner. Standing in the deepest chamber of the temple, spinning a fully loaded inheritance-grade revolver around my finger. Enhanced senses tracking every approaching heartbeat like dots on a radar screen. Silver Soul needed 100 B rank or higher souls to reach its final form. And a whole buffet of B rank and above awakeners was walking through my front door right now. How thoughtful of them. Delivering themselves directly to me. Door-to-door soul service. I smiled behind my tactical mask. Come on in, everyone. The dead man is waiting. And he's very hungry. I stood in the dark of the temple, senses spread out like a spider's web, and felt 2 groups approaching. Group 1, 12 people, stomping through the front door like they owned the place. And leading them. A heartbeat I'd recognize in my sleep. Lu Jinxiong. Dear old daddy dearest. The man who murdered my parents, raised me as a cover story, and then sent assassins after me when I got inconvenient. Happy family reunion time. Group 2. 5 people with heartbeats so controlled they were practically whispering. Night Owl assassins. Creeping in behind the first group like shadows with knives. Silver Soul needed 100 B-rank souls to evolve. And 17 potential donors just RSVP'd to my dinner party. I flipped Silver Soul around my finger, ducked behind a massive stone pillar, and activated my Nightwalker suit stealth effect. Invisible. Silent. Waiting. Lu Zhenxiong's crew marched in like tourists at a museum. One of his mages was waving some detection gadget around, practically drooling. Boss, the spiritual energy here is 100 times denser than outside. There's definitely ancient treasure. Yeah, there was. I took it. It's in my pocket. You're welcome. Search everything. Don't miss a single floor tile, Lu Zhenxiong ordered, eyes locked on the stone monument like it owed him money. A four-man scouting team started walking toward my pillar. The lead guy, a heavy armor warrior in his 30s, was already mentally spending his treasure money. When we find the good stuff, I bet we'll each get at least, bang, Silver Soul's debut performance. The sound was enormous. The muzzle flash lit up the entire temple like a lightning strike. One bullet, straight through his forehead, and his head just wasn't there anymore. 1 second, head. Next second, abstract expressionism on the ceiling. Silver Soul's 1,500 point base damage plus all my mythic passive multipliers. Way more than a level 35 warrior's skull could handle. The answer to what happens when an unstoppable bullet meets a very stoppable head turned out to be modern art. His 3 teammates got a free facial, brain matter, and bone chips, compliments of the chef. The headless body toppled over, and a wispy soul floated out, getting immediately slurped into Silver Soul's engravings like a spiritual smoothie. Soul Devour Progress, 1/100. Tasty. 17-1. OH, but the recoil. Holy mother of kickback. My entire right arm went numb. 100 recoil points is no joke. Without trajectory warp auto-correcting the bullet's path, that shot would have hit the ceiling. Normal human firing this gun? Their wrist would have snapped backward and slapped them in the face. I held on through pure stubbornness and slightly concerning grip strength. Ambush. Take cover. The remaining 3 screamed, diving behind whatever they could find. I was already moving. Dash to the next pillar. 2 more shots. Bang. Bang. A mage who was mid-teleport spell got a bowl-sized hole through his chest before he could finish the first syllable. A bowman trying to retreat had his neck disconnected from his body. His head went airborne for a solid 2 seconds before bouncing off the stone floor. 3 down in under 5 seconds. Panic spreading through the Lu family troops like a virus. Where is he? Find him. Lu Zhenxiong was screaming, veins bulging, spit flying. One of his assassins went stealth mode and crept toward my last known position. Professional grade invisibility. Very sneaky. 10 out of 10 effort. 0 out of 10 effectiveness against enhanced senses. I didn't even turn around. Just pointed Silver Soul backward over my shoulder and fired into what looked like empty air. Bang. The assassin's chest cavity ceased to exist. He tumbled out of stealth like a broken puppet, already dead. But the absolute mad lad used his last breath to crush a detection scroll. Red light flared, and my stealth effect got stripped away. Fine. No more hiding then. I walked out from behind the pillar. Slowly. Casually. Silver Soul hanging from one hand like I was taking a stroll in the park. Lu Zhenxiong saw me. His face went through more colors than a mood ring in an earthquake. White. Gray. Green. Back to white. Lin Yui, you're supposed to be dead. The man looked like he'd seen a ghost. Which, from his perspective, he basically had. He personally confirmed my death. Watched the surveillance footage. Celebrated with fancy tea. And now the corpse was standing in front of him holding a gun that had just deleted 4 of his people in 10 seconds. I blew the smoke off Silver Soul's barrel. Very cinematic. I'd been practicing. Hey old man. Small world, huh? I was just trying to figure out where to find you, and you delivered yourself right to my door. With snacks, too. I gestured at his remaining troops. Thanks for bringing so many. Saves me the trip. His face turned the color of a bruise. Being trash-talked by the adopted son you try to murder multiple times? In front of your own soldiers? While standing in a temple whose treasures that son already stole. That's gotta sting. Kill him. Kill him and take everything he has. Lu Zhenxiong screamed, so hard his voice cracked. The remaining fighters launched into a textbook assault formation. 2 mages behind a tower shield tank, chanting spells. 2 stealth assassins flanking left and right. Classic 3-pronged attack. Very professional. Very organized. Very useless. I charged the tank head-on. Bang. First shot hit his A-rank tower shield. The entire surface cracked like an egg, fracture lines spreading everywhere. Bang! Second shot. The shield exploded into fragments. The tank stumbled backward, vomiting blood from the shockwave. Bang! Third shot. Weakness gaze triggered. The bullet curved mid-air in a physically impossible arc and drilled straight into his heart. He dropped like a building, dead before he hit the ground. An A-rank shield reduced to confetti by a handgun. I really wished I had special ammo. One bullet would have gone through the shield and the man behind it simultaneously. But regular ammo plus 3 shots? Still got the job done. Soul Devour, climbing. Silver Soul was having an all-you-can-eat buffet, and I was the waiter. And up above, watching from the shadows on the high pillars, 5 pairs of eyes I could feel, but chose to ignore for now. Grave Burial and his Night Owl squad. They'd seen everything. The gun, the souls being absorbed, the one-sided massacre. I could sense Grave Burial's heartbeat spike when he saw Silver Soul eating souls. His greed hit a level that should require medical attention. He gave his 4 assassins a hand signal. So now I had Lu Jinxiong's survivors in front of me and 5 elite assassins preparing to strike from above. Perfect. The more the merrier. Silver Soul's chamber is full. My passives are all online. My senses cover this entire temple like a net. Everyone in this building came here looking for ancient treasure. They found it. It's pointing a gun at them. The slaughter continued like a well-oiled murder machine. 2 Lu family assassins managed to sneak behind me while I was busy deleting their tank buddy. Credit where it's due, their coordination was actually decent. Poison daggers aimed at my spine and throat simultaneously. Classic pincer attack. The left one was already grinning. Die, you little animal. Sir, I can hear your heartbeat, your breathing, and apparently your premature celebration. My enhanced senses had tracked these 2 since they entered stealth. I knew their exact positions, speeds, and attack angles before they did. The dagger was literally touching my collar when I twisted sideways. Ultimate combat mastery made my body move in ways that should require a chiropractor's apology letter afterward. The blade whistled past my nose close enough to trim nose hair. In the same motion, I shoved Silver Soul directly against Lefty's temple and pulled the trigger. Bang! Half his skull departed the chat. Permanently. Then I spun, channeled all my momentum into my right leg, and kicked Righty so hard in the stomach that his internal organs probably rearranged themselves alphabetically. While he was folded and half gasping like a landed fish, I stuffed Silver Soul's still-smoking barrel into his mouth and fired. Bang! Exit wound, back of skull, very large, very permanent. 5 seconds. 2 assassins. Didn't even turn around for the first one. I'm starting to feel like a bully, except they started it, and also tried to murder me. Then the 2 mages in the back finally finished their spell casting. Took them long enough. I could have made a sandwich in the time it took them to chant. Frost Sphere, 2 giant blue ice balls the size of beach balls came screaming at me, freezing the floor solid wherever they passed. Very dramatic. Very pretty. Very pointless. I just stood there. Didn't dodge. Didn't flinch. Let them hit me directly. Boom. Boom. Ice shrapnel everywhere. Frost coating everything within 10 meters. The mages were already celebrating. Then the frost cleared, and I was standing in the exact same spot, completely untouched, with my kinetic barrier casually rippling like I'd been hit by a light breeze. Their faces went from, "We got him," to, "We are going to die," at the speed of light. 2 grown mages, still holding their staffs in casting position, brains completely blue-screened. I raised Silver Soul. 2 shots. 2 foreheads. 2 more bodies on the floor. Total Lu family elite squad. 12 to 12 eliminated. All that was left was Lu Jinxiong and his 2 personal bodyguards, standing in a temple full of corpses that used to be their army. Soul Devour. 10/100. Silver Soul was having a feast. Lu Jinxiong was shaking. Not from fear, from rage. Pure, psychotic, ego-shattered fury. "I will tear you 2 pieces." He ripped off his outer robe like a discount superhero reveal, exposing dark gold spiritual armor underneath. Level 40 Peak Awakener. A-rank Wind Swordsman. Whipped out a glowing orange sword that hummed with enough energy to slice an armored vehicle in half. 30 levels above me. Decades more experience. A-rank class versus my newly acquired Spirit Gunner. On paper, he should destroy me. But, on paper, is where I keep my grocery lists, not my fight predictions. Did he charge me himself, though? Of course not. He sent his 2 bodyguards first, used them as living shields. Again, this man's entire combat strategy is, let other people die for me. It's his signature move. Literally how he killed my parents. The bodyguards drew their sabers and charged. Lu Jinxiong followed behind them, moving at insane speed. Wine Swordsman class is all about velocity, leaving golden afterimages everywhere. I planted my feet, raised Silver Soul with both hands, and locked on. Then a 6th attacker appeared out of nowhere. A poisoned throwing knife screamed out of the shadows, aimed directly at my face. Perfect timing, perfect angle, designed to interrupt my shot at the exact worst moment. My peripheral vision caught the green glow. I didn't bother dodging. Clang. The knife bounced off my kinetic barrier like a tennis ball off a wall. And by absolute cosmic comedy, it ricocheted directly into Lu Jinxiong's charge path, forcing all 3 of them to dive sideways to avoid getting hit by their own side's weapon. The look on Lu Jinxiong's face when he had to dodge a knife thrown by his own ally? Chef's kiss. He spun around and glared at the shadow the knife came from. Grave burial. Finally decided to stop watching from the cheap seats. Out stepped the Night Owl boss himself. Black cloak, hood covering most of his face, dual-wielding 2 creepy black sickles. Red eyes glowing underneath like a haunted scarecrow. He completely ignored Lu Jinxiong, didn't even look at him, and floated over to examine me like I was a car he was thinking about buying. Kid, you're impressive. He'd watched the entire massacre from the ceiling. Saw the gun. Saw the soul absorption. Saw me tank magic without blinking. And his professional assassin brain went, I want that. I'm Grave Burial, leader of the Night Owl Xinjiang branch. Join us. I'll personally recommend you to our headquarters. You can be vice leader. His plan was transparent as glass. Get me to join. Ship me to headquarters where they'd dissect me for my secrets. Classic corporate acquisition, except with more murder. His 4 assassins materialized from shadows around me. 5 total, 5 perfect attack positions, all escape routes sealed. Lu Jinxiong saw this and nearly had an aneurysm. Grave burial. What are you doing? That kid is mine. Shut up, old man. Grave burial didn't even turn around. Nobody asked you. Go stand in the corner. Lu Jinxiong's face turned a color I didn't know faces could turn. Being dismissed like a child in front of his own people? In a temple he organized the expedition to? By an assassin he hired? I couldn't help it. I laughed. Out loud. The full situation was just too perfect. My murderous adoptive father and his hired killers fighting over who gets to kill me, while I'm standing here with a legendary gun full of infinite bullets having the time of my life. I spun Silver Soul once and pointed it directly at Grave Burial's forehead. Tell you what, if you can beat me, I'll consider joining your little shadow club. I paused. But not as vice leader. As the leader, the audacity on display? Immaculate. A level 12 teenager telling the boss of an entire assassination organization that he'd only join if he got the top seat. Grave Burial's red eyes flickered. 5 elite assassins. 1 furious swordsman. 2 bodyguards. Versus me, Silver Soul, and 12 mythic passives plus 3 inheritance skills. The math is in my favor. They just don't know it yet.